Bada bing bop. We live.
Bada bing pow. Welcome everybody. We are Geek Garden. Welcome back to Stay Indoors, the only podcast on the internet that absolutely crushed our charity fundraising goal on Sunday.
Woo!
I am joined, as always, by the brisk Brandon Horn. The singular Sean Fabish.
And singular.
And the jumpy Jack Tan.
Hello.
It's like a weird confirmation. I am singular.
I am singular.
True, there's one.
We are here, as always, to discuss, nerdy stuff, mostly video games, maybe some movies, comic books, whatever comes to mind. But first, I got to check in with the lads, see how they're doing. Brandon, why don't you lead us off? You were kind of the head honcho for our charity stream. Lead us through it. How did that go? What happened?
It was fucking rad. We made all the fucking money. It's fucking great. So we had our charity stream on Sunday, and our goal was $750 for Child's Play charity, which is a charity that collects money to buy toys and video games for kids in not so nice situations, for pediatric hospitals and stuff like that. Our goal was $750, and we fucking crushed it. A couple of very generous donors. And and because of that, first of all, this was like the set dressing we had, and I was like covered in like Christmas ornaments. I'm sure if you go watch the VOD, you'll see the ridiculousness that was my face by the end of that fucking stream. But we will be playing Divinity Original Sin 2, which I'm really fucking stoked for because we made our halfway goal. And then we'll be playing a one-shot D&D game because we made our full goal. Which is dope. I should probably bring up what the exact total amount was. I think it was just over 800.
I thought it was $850 and 69 cents.
Oh yeah, and 69 cents. Nice. It was $850.69. Yeah. So yeah, we crushed it. We went $100 way over our fucking goal. Similar to last time, we went just about $100 over our last goal too, which is awesome. We have now, totally have raised $1,400 for charity as a Geek Garden.
Actually,
it's rad,
which is really fucking cool.
That's so sick.
But yes, it went really, really well. It was a lot of fun. I'm really excited to do more stuff like that in the future. It's also just like I found that one. It was kind of cool because we were able to kind of. We added the milestones. Like there was like we could add an extra layer because like I already knew how to kind of set up the basis of it, and it was really quick and easy this time. And so it was like we were like, oh sure, let's do a charity for this one. And so like that evening, within 5 minutes, we had the charity campaign set up and yada yada yada. And then it was just we could add more stuff, and so I'm excited to like add more layers to like the next charity stream and like get a bigger goal, and like I'm just really excited. So it was great, and it's definitely been the highlight of my week. But beyond that, I am 100% in vacation mode right now. I still worked yesterday, I worked today, and I also work tomorrow, but I'm just like there's not a lot to do at work right now because like we're gonna be closed for like over a week, so it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I'll do that, but like that's not really important. Like I'll deal with that when I come back in the new year, kind of thing, right? And so I've just kind of been like chilling out, and like I was up till 4 a.m. last night playing fucking Ghost of Tsushima, and beautiful game, by the way. And that's
Respect.
just the mind state I've been in, and just been chilling out, and I'm excited for the winter break, for Christmas, and all that good stuff. That's where I'm at.
Jack,
What's up?
where are you at? What's happening?
What's happening is I'm already in vacation mode, so I'm just straight chilling, dude. Straight chilling.
Straight chilling.
Straight chilling.
But you and I played some Overwatch last night. We got
Yeah,
that elf skin
Got that
for
elf Junko.
You guys got it? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Don't seem surprised. Come on.
I don't want to hijack Jack's thing, but we played the new mode where you, like the freeze thaw mode. That's
yeah.
like the Christmas event. It's pretty fun.
right. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Anything else going on, Jack?
Uh,
Are you just straight chilling?
Not much, man. Just straight chilling until I guess after Christmas.
Fair. Sean, what's up, man?
Yeah, I entered like vacation mode. I don't know, like 3 months ago.
Nice.
Fair.
You entered vacation when the pandemic started.
Yeah, the moment it was the moment I didn't have to go to work for like 3 days and straight.
Yeah, you're like,
it's
okay.
vacation time.
But-
No, I'm good. Everything's good. Nothing.
Sean, I don't see your vacation clothes.
Yes, you're right. So it's not truly been vacation time. That was a
Exactly.
Yeah, dude,
lie.
not-
I
that
said
was
Not
a
vacation.
Where's the
not
fucking
vacation.
shirt?
That was a lie I said to garner support because I wanted to fit in with Jack. That's all. That's all that happened. That's what I wanted to do.
Right. Right.
But alas, I was caught. No, I'm good. Yeah, things are good. I want to paint some minis. I don't know why.
Nice.
They're just staring at me particularly hard today. And yeah.
Fucking do it.
Sean came up to me and was talking about how much he missed it.
Yeah, I was
Couple days
like,
ago.
I just need a space to do it. Because, like, my setup is kind of inefficient to play games on a computer or really anything.
It's not really a desk. It's kind of a
No.
small writing table.
Exactly. And like, so in order to paint, I have to like remove the mat, remove the keyboard, the mouse, like move the monitor back. Like, it just like, it requires setup, which is fine with me. I don't mind moving the space around, but it just like, if there's just like, just a little bit of hesitancy, it's just that much harder to get started.
Mhm. No, I get that. You want to create a space that is like conducive to creativity or to whatever you want to do or productivity,
Exactly.
right? Like if you're feeling like, oh, I want to write, you don't want to then have to like set something up or like go dig a book out of a fucking box or something. You want to have it like accessible. You want to have it right there.
Mm-hmm. Just be like,
Um,
done.
Also,
Ooh.
just side note,
Text.
Divinity 2 is on sale.
Oh, is it right now?
It's 60% off.
On the,
Wait, but is that just on PC or is it on
Yeah,
console as well?
PC. I don't know about console, but it's on Steam. Sale.
Check
Everyone's
check the
opening
PlayStation
Steam.
Store. Check the PlayStation Store.
Oh fuck, dude! I
I'm
It's literally
I'm
just
willing
on
to
the
give it a
website.
try on PC. I just don't
Yeah,
know if
again,
my laptop will
That's
handle
fair.
it.
That's
If
fine.
it doesn't work, you can return it if you haven't played it more than 2 hours, which is super easy.
How was your week?
So, yeah.
Kelly?
My week. Okay, I have a few things to go through. I'll try to be fast. First off, I'm wearing my Legend of Zelda Christmas sweater.
Hell yeah.
I'm
This
jealous.
is the last podcast that I can wear a sweater on, and I got Spider-Man in there, and I got Zelda in there, so we're good. I got my nerd Christmas sweaters going. That's great.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Second off, before we get into more recent times, so it was my birthday back in March. I had to cancel birthday plans and everything, obviously
Oh,
because
shit,
of
I
the lockdown.
missed that.
Didn't do anything for it.
Oh my fucking
But it's a funny thing, you know, my parents still wanted to get me like a present or anything, but I haven't really seen them. So they messaged me like a while back and were like, hey, so your birthday happened. Do you want something? I gave them a suggestion, and then I didn't really hear back for a while. And it's like Christmas in less than a week. And yesterday I had physiotherapy, and my mom handed me a little box wrapped in birthday wrapping paper. And they gave me a birthday present like a week before Christmas. So I got this little bad boy.
Hell yeah!
This is
What is it?
my capture card.
Oh.
And it's really cool because it's got a PC free mode. So I've got a micro SD card in the back there, and I just gave everybody the finger by accident showing up. And it's fun. It's got like a little rubber bottom, so I can just kind of sit on the table right next to my TV and stuff. It was a nightmare to get it working. I was terrified that I was going to have to like return it or something because people have apparently had problems with it, which of course I didn't find when I was doing research about which capture card I wanted. I didn't find any of this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I finally got it working the other day, so it's cool because I don't have to have a laptop or anything set up to it. I can just record huge gaming sessions straight. And they gave me a freaking 128 gigabyte micro SD card.
Nice.
I asked for like a 64 gig at most because I was like, that seems like a lot, but they gave me 120 gigs.
Nice.
So that's really cool. I finally got it working the other day, so I don't have plans to like specifically record anything right now, but now I can a lot more easily. Especially for like older consoles that I can like get an HDMI switch to like convert AV cables and stuff, and then the cord mess that I'm gonna have to run behind my TV in order to record like GameCube shit is gonna be insane, but I'm still really excited about it.
Hell yeah.
For future stuff. So I'll have to start actually making the videos that I keep writing the scripts for at some point. I have so many video scripts on my freaking thing. Then I wanted to share this just because it was fun for me. Vince Napoli, who is the lead combat designer on the Avengers game, and he was the combat director for God of War. He did an AMA on like the Avengers Reddit about like the combat design and stuff. And he answered my question, and he gave it like a really long response, and it just made me really happy because Vince Napoli is like a fucking genius combat designer, and as you guys know, combat design is like one of my favorite aspects of video games.
Yeah, that's dope.
And so he like I asked like a question that was like this long on Reddit, and his response was like fucking this, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, it was really cool.
What was your question?
I basically asked him about like the relationship between like having like a skill-based action combat system and like a loot-based perk and stat like driven progression economy.
Right.
And he had some interesting insights about like how he approaches it, sort of like the math behind the scenes of like, for example, if he wants a fight, like the baseline version of a fight between you and this thing is supposed to take you like, for example, 3 hits to kill. He then has to say like, okay, the shortest that fight can be is it'll take you 1 hit. The longest I want that fight to be is that it'll take you 5 hits, and then tweak the potential gear and factor that in that stuff. So just, it was interesting. It was an interesting little thing. Obviously his answer was longer than that. And then, yeah, I don't have physio again until the new year. So that's kind of exciting to think about that we're coming into 2021. And I don't have to, I can just relax until the new year.
Hell yeah.
There was something else. A busy week. I started writing again. Like I opened up like my novel first draft and just like wrote a few lines. So that was fun.
Nice.
I feel like there was something else. This was just like a good week, all around. Good times, good vibes.
Good.
I'm sure there was something. I forgot. It'll come to me or it won't. That's fine. Good week. Good week. Oh, I was gonna say that I just like today / last night, I was like, I keep getting involved in discussions on Avengers on Reddit because there's so many people who are like, I want this game to be good and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I found this one person who their post was basically like, I feel like Avengers would have been better if it wasn't a looter. And you guys know how I feel about that. And I commented like, man, I feel ya. I made like a 45-minute video about how Avengers shouldn't have been a looter because I'm fucking insane. And then somebody else responded like, hey, I'd like to see that video. And then I sent it to him, and then he responded and was like, hey, I really like it. I liked your video, and like I think it's good and stuff. And I was like,
yeah,
Kelly, make
nice.
friends.
Yourself.
because I spent like so many hours in the video, and our channel is so small and nobody saw it. So that's really nice.
Never stop plugging.
Never
Well,
plug
that's so fair.
stopping.
You should post it to Reddit. Like you should make
Yeah,
it
you
a
could,
post.
yeah.
I did, and I didn't really get anything. I don't know. It was weird. Like I couldn't find it. I think it like got buried or something.
Yeah,
Really quick.
they get buried by new. Because people don't search by new on Reddit.
Exactly. They search by hot.
Hot.
Hot damn.
Hat.
So you want to be a new warrior, not a
Also-
hot.
Hat.
Also, Sean, guess what's on sale?
What is?
Guess, Sean.
Is it
Guess.
Total War?
Yes.
Fucking buy it.
you
You would.
I did promise you I would buy
You
it.
said you would, and
want
you've got
to
that
kill
fancy new
elves
PC.
with me.
Wait. Did you say Total War?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on sale.
Jack, we can learn together. Let's play Total War.
Yes,
You
learn
want to kill
together.
elves with me. I can show you guys what a checkerboard formation looks like and how it's useful and why you would use it.
I know how to play checkers, Sean.
No,
Sean?
why you would want to use a checkerboard formation? It's different.
I don't understand.
You don't get it.
So yeah, that's basically my week. It's been pretty good.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Right on, brother.
Right on.
So these past couple weeks have been kind of busy as far as like geek and nerd kind of stuff goes. So last week we spent a whole bunch of time talking about Cyberpunk.
Let's do it again.
As an addendum, I don't think there's like a huge discussion to be had, but both Sony and Microsoft have now started like they've broken their refund policies and are just offering full refunds on Cyberpunk.
And
And-
Microsoft did that too, yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft did it too,
Yeah.
and Sony actually pulled Cyberpunk from the PlayStation Store. Like you can't buy it
Yeah.
digitally for PlayStation right now. That's just fucking crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It's a it's both it's weird. It's ballsy, but also I've seen a lot of people complaining that like there have been plenty of other like broken games that like Sony doesn't like remove from their stores. I don't think that it's not worth doing though, because I think this is a very specific scenario in the sense that they fucked up by not only marketing a false game, but also like telling people that they could just get a fucking refund without actually talking to Sony first. And so Sony's like, well, if you're gonna fuck us like that, we're not gonna sell your game.
I think it's also like an order of magnitude, right? Like Sony's call center stuff was like crashing because everybody was looking for a refund because the game like doesn't work, and like
Yeah.
this was the most hyped, most PC pre-ordered game of all time. Like if some
Yeah.
random ass janky broken fucking game is on the PlayStation Store and like 3 people bought it or whatever, like that sucks. It shouldn't be there, but it is different than the sheer volume of people who are trying to get Cyberpunk and having issues.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
And
I
then
completely agree.
also Cyberpunk's getting attacked from two ends. There are reports that like people like developers and stuff who work for Cyberpunk are like super pissed at management for releasing the game when like they knew it wasn't ready, obviously,
Yeah.
because they're developers and they fucking knew the game wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And there's at least one investor in Poland who is also a lawyer who's talking about like the potential of a class action lawsuit from the investors
Damn.
against CDPR
Wow.
for releasing this shitty game and basically losing the money and not doing their fucking job.
Damn.
The fucking irony.
Yeah. So it's not looking good for CDPR right now.
Damn.
Man, like again, I think Sean and I were having this conversation like before our last podcast, and I think I was just trying to kind of give any amount of sympathy I could to whoever it is who is in charge of all this. Like obviously they've made some very poor decision to fucking like release this game or whatever, but at the same time I can't imagine the amount of pressure that's probably coming from like so many different directions that probably didn't help with like then making that poor decision, right? Because I can only assume that if like it was partly the investors that were going like, hey, where the fuck's our game? And then he's like, fine, we'll fucking release it, and that's a shitty game, and now they're trying to do a class action lawsuit. Like, holy shit. I'm glad I don't have that person's job, but that's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, like that's
Well,
just fucking brutal.
They've said in a few letters that they were not pressured to open the game by investors.
Mhm.
That's a thing that they've gone on record saying.
That's so
So,
weird.
Why
did
to
you
not
release it?
detract us back into this conversation? It's money. It's corporate greed. It's the same thing it always is.
They wanted to
If it-
get
if
the
it-
Christmas. They wanted to get the holiday sales, man.
If it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. It's
quacks
not
like a duck.
a zebra.
It ain't no zebra.
Ain't no zebra.
However, because we spent so much time talking about Cyberpunk last week, we neglected to talk about a whole bunch of other fucking crazy geek shit that happened.
Mhm.
Specifically, Disney had like this big investors meeting, and they announced a whole bunch of Marvel and Star Wars content that's coming out. So I have a list here of like all of the Marvel stuff that we know is coming. This includes stuff that was just announced or stuff that we knew was coming, but maybe didn't have dates or like got new information or whatever. But this is just like the full list of all the Marvel shit, and then a list of all the Star Wars stuff, most of which was basically all new. To my understanding.
We should probably leave out the most recently announced one just for spoiler reasons.
Oh,
Cool,
yeah.
we can do that.
I think that makes
absolutely do
sense. Just because the last episode of Mando is still pretty fresh.
What we're saying is watch Mandalorian because
Watch Mandalorian.
Very good.
Very good.
It's very good. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I think maybe if we decide to do a podcast next week or whatever, our first podcast is in the new year, I'd like to talk about the Mandalorian if we feel like that's a good amount of time to then
New year, new me.
New year, new me, new Mandalorian.
New Mandalorian.
So, gonna put it to a vote to you three guys whether we go through Star Wars or Marvel first. Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you want to go through first, Star Wars or Marvel?
I feel like
That's all.
there was more new stuff announced with Star Wars. Am I not mistaken?
I don't know because there's so much Marvel stuff that like we knew was happening but wasn't necessarily announced and like weird stuff like that. So I'm honestly not certain which one got more new announcements.
I feel like we might have more to say about the Star Wars stuff, so we might want to just like do that because it's gonna take longer. But I really don't care.
Just pick one. Just pick one.
Star
You gotta
Wars,
vote.
Star
Wars first. Sean.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Let's just do it.
Okay, Jack. Your vote doesn't matter because it's 3-1. So.
How dare you?
So we're doing Star.
Wow, that's not how democracy works.
That's exactly how democracy works. So Brandon, I got a list here. If I missed anything, obviously let me know.
Yeah, of course.
Because you will.
Like Star Wars brain. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna, as we go through this, we can give as many or as little thoughts as we have. Brandon, you can obviously give us kind of the rundown on specifically what the thing is.
Sure. Yeah.
But the first one, I'll say is Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah, Rangers of the New Republic. It's a show that's taking place during the same timeline as The Mandalorian. And it's going to follow, I'm assuming, some like soldiers, pilots, something like that.
Some Rangers.
Some Rangers
of the New Republic.
I'm hoping it's going to star, if not, at least like have it as like a minor character, our Mr. Kim, our good pilot from The Mandalorian. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested to know, and we can get into this later, but I think the thing that intrigues me the most is that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, the gods that they are helping make the transition from the original trilogy to the sequel trilogy feel more real. Explain how that happened. And I'm already much happier with it, with just what they've done in The Mandalorian. So I can only imagine that, because I think the one question, and I think this is the one that bothers Sean the most, if not all of us, is like, where did the First Order come from, and why did the New Republic demilitarize? So I want these shows to answer that question, or at least explain why there wasn't a military around, if it was busy elsewhere or whatever. I'm curious. So I'm hoping that this show helps fill that gap and answer those questions. But other than that, I have no idea what the fuck to expect. I have no clue.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to hand wave the fact that they're like, yeah, we demilitarized. They're just going to throw it
Probably.
under the rug. Yeah.
But
Probably.
yeah, I don't know.
Like what I think they might like go back and retcon is not that they demilitarized, is that they decentralized the military. Because it's the Galactic Republic kind of feels like, I don't know, like various city states sort of warring in a main Congress. I don't know.
Well,
I guess they'll
funny.
explore that.
Yeah, it's funny because, again, I don't want to, because we have a bunch of other shows to talk about, but another thing that I've kind of noticed more and more after kind of digesting more of this extended content outside the films, whether it's the books or the games or the Mandalorian, like the show, is that they're really driving home this idea that like a majority of the Empire still exists after Return of the Jedi, and that it's a lot of these like offshoot factions that are then kind of like all doing their own thing or have like their different orders. And I think what they might do is kind of like the First Order is just one of the larger of these factions that are left over from the Empire. And then I feel like if they do want to try and explain it, I feel like they might make it that the New Republic is busy dealing with another one or several other ones, and then the First Order kind of just like swoops in and fucking boom, 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 New Republic dead, whatever happens in Force Awakens in like fucking 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there it is.
that's my. I think that's the only thing they could do. They can make it really fun, make some cool, maybe Palpatine's behind the whole fucking time. I don't know, but anyways, that's my thought.
I just want to say the actor you're thinking of is Paul Seung-hyun Lee. That's who we wanna. That's the guy. That's who plays Mr. Kim.
for
Already
Mr.
plays
Kim.
Kim.
What's his first name?
Paul.
Paul. Cool.
Mr. Paul.
Cool.
Shout out to Paul.
Shout out to Paul.
Next, this one is pretty obvious. Right away was Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Obviously, that's happening.
Everyone fucking called it when that episode from Mandalorian dropped. Everyone was like, "Oh, well, if she's not coming back, it's because they're doing the Ahsoka show."
It was like when Grant Gustin showed up on Arrow, and it's like, oh, they're doing Flash. Like they're doing a Flash show.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
a Flash show.
Little backdoor pilot situation. Yeah, it's gonna be Ahsoka doing some Ahsoka stuff.
Ahsoka. Now explain to me what Ahsoka stuff is.
Ahsoka stuff.
Ahsoka stuff.
Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
You say it so quickly, it just loses all meaning. Ahsoka stuff. Ahsoka stuff. Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah,
Sounds like a really bad fish commercial. Hello, I've got Ahsoka stuff.
This is very, very random. Not random, but just like slightly off topic. So apparently there was a video. I just had a video suggested to me on YouTube. A while ago, just before episode 9 came out, there was a video that went semi-viral of... I'm trying to remember what the fuck the actor's name is. He played Freddy in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah,
Freddy.
he voices Kanan in Rebels. He was on a podcast, and he kind of he wasn't angry, but he kind of lost his cool and went on a bit of a rant, complaining about Star Wars fans, and he was essentially bitching about how everyone just kind of gets so fucking upset over anything that happens in any fucking movie or show or whatever. And he was talking about how Dave Filoni kind of explained to him how he views the Force, and Dave Filoni is taking everything from George Lucas. And so he's like, all right, you fucking idiots. And he goes on this huge rant.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it's actually really, really funny. And to be honest, I mostly agreed with him, and I think I really understood where his frustration was coming from. But it was interesting because one of the things he said was fucking gray Jedi don't exist. And I was like, interesting. Because I feel like that's kind of what the Ahsoka thing's all about. But anyways, that's besides the point. I was just I just thought it was really funny. Yeah, check it out if you haven't already.
Sean, get over yourself. The next thing
She's not a
is
great Jedi.
Bad Batch.
Hell yes.
Bad bitch. Did you mean Clone Wars Season 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I assume it's gonna be a prequel.
No, I think it takes place during the Order 66 time.
Do they not have chips?
I don't know.
That's what I mean, right? So I guess unless they explain they don't have chips, I assume it's a prequel.
I mean, I think they did say that it's happening after.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'll look
I
it
don't
up.
know. I don't know. Bad Batch was something that was fun, but I wasn't really the biggest fan of. Oh, hey, Melissa just followed us. Thanks, Melissa.
Oh, thanks, Melissa.
Nice.
It wasn't my favorite thing in the world in the Clone Wars show, but I'm excited that they're doing a show with it and it'll look fun. I know that one of the characters that's in the Mandalorian, what's her name? Fennec. I can't remember what the actress's name is. May something. The girl from Agents of
Ming-Na
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she played May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? That was her Agent May.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, her character is in the Bad Batch show, but as animated, and she's doing the voice and stuff, which is pretty fun.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
I don't know. Looks fun.
We got Andor, which is pretty neat.
Yes, give me that casting.
Yeah, Andor actually looked really, really cool. I'm actually really excited because that's just gonna be a pre-original trilogy, Rebel espionage show. It's gonna be Rogue One the show.
Yeah. Star Wars
It's
spy
gonna be Rogue
show.
One the show. Yeah,
Oh,
which
yeah.
looks
Give me that
fucking
James
great.
Bond spy, Star Wars.
I'm excited to see more. I want more city environments. for Star Wars. We get a lot of the like outskirts. We get a lot more of the like fantasy Western vibe recently, but I want like the like sci-fi like militarist fucking shit now. And I think that's what Andor's going to give us, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it's fucking cool. We got the Acolyte.
Interesting. I don't really know what to expect. So do you guys know much about the Acolyte at all?
Not much.
So do you guys know?
Yeah, it's, what's it, the lead creator on Star Wars right now?
You mean
Kathleen Kennedy? No,
Kathleen Kennedy?
Kennedy, not Hennedy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's like her passion project, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's what they've come out and said. So have you guys heard about the new High Republic thing? The High Republic?
Give me the old
Vaguely.
Republic or give me death.
So we have the Old Republic, which is supposed to be like thousands and thousands of years before. Like I think it's literally supposed to be like 4,000 years before Episode 4, which we've had games and books on everything. The High Republic is now the era between essentially the prequels and the Old Republic. So this is like the era, the quote unquote like golden age of Jedi. There's like generally peace in the galaxy, and Yoda's kicking it. He's still around. He's on the council, that kind of thing. And it looks a lot of fun. They're essentially
Yoda's jacked.
Yoda's jacked.
Fucking
Super
ripped,
fucking,
dude.
Yo, Yoda's huge.
fucking
Yoda's
buff.
fucking swole.
And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Essentially, it's a movement on Lucasfilm and Disney's parts to pump out a bunch of new like books and comics and stuff. I've heard the books are actually really, really good so far from what I've heard. I'm really excited to read a couple of them. But essentially, the Acolyte is taking place at the fall of the High Republic, so I'm assuming kind of the transitioning period from the end of this era to Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and we're following a Dark Force user. They haven't said Sith, but we're following like a Dark Force user. So I'm excited about that.
I just want to say that I just noticed that apparently it's going to be helmed by the Russian Doll creator, Leslie Headland. And Russian Doll is awesome.
Russian Doll is amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was sad they didn't make a second season, not of the same characters, but maybe an anthology or something.
Like similar
Later than-
concepts.
Yeah, like take that concept and
So
turn
good.
it somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's just fucking hype. Apparently it's it's going to be a mystery thriller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
it sounds like it's going to be an interesting genre for Star Wars, and I'm excited. Excited.
We're also getting Star Wars a droid story.
I don't really know anything about it. I just know it's supposed
What?
to be like a timeline related show. It's kind of just like going to be like a weird series, just like highlighting droids and stuff.
Apparently it's an animated feature that will have a new hero who's guided by C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah.
So-
I think it's meant to be a little bit more for kids, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Star Wars Lando.
Lando.
A show about Lando. But I'm
Yep.
assuming taking place like pre-Empire, after Solo. I have no idea.
Oh,
I feel like that makes them unless
Unless it's pre-Solo.
unless it's priest.
Who's playing Lando?
I don't think we know yet.
well no because the other option I was gonna say was that theoretically it could be like post Jedi.
Right, I guess Lando's around. I forgot Lando's in Episode 9, so yeah, it literally could be that entire time between
Yeah,
Return of the
right.
Jedi
it'd be basically
and
anything.
9.
Oh, yeah.
So there's lots of
Camera.
options there.
What are you doing?
Yeah, your camera's
It's doing whatever
not
it
having
wants
it right
to
now.
do.
Your fucking camera is.
We were fucking chilling, man. Why'd you have to be like that? I know the
I do
colors are
not
a little bit flat,
ignore chat all the time. Excuse
Alright,
me.
whatever. Next up we got Rogue Squadron.
Hell yeah.
Rogue Squadron, I'm fucking stoked. So, the director on this one is, I can't remember what her name is right now, but she is the daughter of a fighter pilot, and
Right.
she's always wanted to make like a great like fighter pilot film, but now she gets a chance to do that with Star Wars and gets to do Rogue
Oh
Squadron.
yeah.
And Rogue Squadrons
Star Wars.
apparently officially is taking place between episodes 5 and 6. So it's height of the Galactic Civil War,
Okay, I see.
squad of
Yeah.
fucking X-Wings. Like, yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is going to be
Well,
an
man.
action-packed film.
Big details.
Yeah, I can see it ending with them like getting ready to go blow up Death Star number 2. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I think it's gonna be fun.
Sick. And the last thing I have on my list is that Taika Waititi is making some kind of movie.
Oh yeah, they didn't announce what, but yeah.
They just said that Taika Waititi is directing something.
I think that kind of like leaked a little while ago because I remember Taika Waititi tweeting about it like earlier in the year or something. But I guess it's more of just like an official like Taika Waititi is doing a movie.
Gotcha. That's all I have, Brennan. Is there anything that I missed?
Well, they technically like released the title for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is Obi-Wan Kenobi. The show. They revealed that Hayden Christensen is coming back to portray Darth Vader, which is kind of fun.
Who are they gonna get to do the voice though? It's got to be James Earl Jones, right?
I'm assuming James Earl Jones. There's a couple of pretty good impersonators out there because I know it's someone else who does the Rebels Darth Vader voice.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, they've used the animated voices in film already, so I can see them doing that. But James Earl Jones, as far as I know, is still working and doing it, even though he's pretty fucking old now. So that could be fun. But I'm really curious what exactly his role is going to be and what they're going to do. Like, man, could you imagine some like Clone Wars flashbacks?
Yo.
How fucking rad would that be with the fucking Clone Wars armor on, but in live action?
I'd be down.
I can 100% see it happening. Looking at the amount of stuff they've already brought in from the animated shows, like I don't think it's not on the table. It's definitely there. And then was there anything else? I think you got it all. Hold up. Let me see if I can bring up there was a picture I had on Reddit that had like literally all the fucking content.
All the things.
All the things.
What I will say is like this is something we've talked about before, but I'm really excited to see kind of like more genres and more ideas present in the Star Wars universe, because the universe is so vast that like sure the mainline stories are this like sort of high fantasy good versus evil concept, but that doesn't mean there aren't like Western stories happening in the Outer Rim and mysteries and espionage and
oh yeah, dude.
Like there's so much room for other stuff within the Star Wars universe. I'm just excited that we're getting to see some more stuff that does that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm fucking stoked. I'm very, very stoked. To be honest, I was very hesitant and kind of like put off guard by like how much content they revealed. Like I remember I opened Instagram and it was just someone who like shared the photo of like all the different fucking like title things, and I was like, okay.
Here's a question, Brandon. Do you think that having so much stuff set in the Star Wars universe, as much as it might be fun, do you think it makes like the title Star Wars less special?
No, I don't know. It's funny. I don't really have an attachment. Like, are you saying specifically to like the fact that it's called Star Wars, or just to like the brand?
Just like the brand in general and like the concept of Star Wars. Like, do you think that it's less special now that it means all this different stuff? It doesn't just mean like, you know, the light side and the dark side and like the Skywalker saga and like all that stuff. Do you think that it diminishes it in any way?
I don't think so. I think it's something I fear of. I think that was like my gut reaction when I saw a lot of this content. I was like, okay, like what else we doing now, Disney? Like what the fuck is going on, right? But I think the more and more I enjoy Star Wars content and see more Star Wars content, the more I've known this for a while, but the more I remember and realize that like everyone looks for something totally different in Star Wars. Like The Mandalorian isn't necessarily a show that I would have asked for personally as a fan. I'm glad it exists and I'm glad that it happened and I'm really happy that I got to enjoy it, but it's not something that I would have asked for from Star Wars. But it's 100% some people have been looking for in Star Wars since the beginning. Since like episode 4, since they ever saw Boba Fett, right? They're like, who the fuck is that guy? I want to know what his fucking life's like, right? When I've always cared more about the conflict, like the Force users, the good versus evil kind of a thing. So and the more that I've also, as we went through the shows just now, the more that I get to see like all the different ideas and learn more what they're trying to do. I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the different kind of paths they're going down. Cool. I think the shows that I get nervous about the most are things like Lando and Andor. Like just like taking a character and like running it longer than it needs to. Like Personally, I don't think I'm gonna care. Like, I'll probably watch it and still think it's fucking great. But again, I don't think I care much for the Lando show. Just because, like, Lando is good because of the little bit we see him, right? He's super charismatic, and he's a swindler, and he's that, like, you know, almost cliche rogue character where you're like, I don't know a lot about you.
And you never quite know if you can trust him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I, to be fair, I'd argue that's identical to Han Solo. That said, though, I really enjoyed the Solo film. So, right, but like that's a film versus like a show that we're getting for Lando. I don't know. But like Andor, I feel a little bit better about because like Andor, we're looking at a part of the universe that we didn't see in the films, which is really fun, and then everything else is like just like a totally new perspective and new kind of content. So. Yeah, I'm excited. I couldn't find the pictures, so whatever. But I think you got everything. I think that was everything.
Cool. That's Star Wars, man. There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of it. I think the thing that makes me like self-conscious too is that like I always keep seeing the memes about people wanting to like cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions, and then like they're like, "Aha, just kidding. Mandalorian season 2's out now. You're not canceling it right now." And I'm just like, every time I think about canceling my Disney Plus, there's a new Star Wars show that's just gonna fucking come out. I'm like, God damn it.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Also, I think something interesting.
Apartment phone is ringing. I don't know why.
Oh,
Give me a second.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
Yeah.
What's up, Jack?
No, I was gonna say, I did check. It is on sale on the store.
On PlayStation as well?
But it's
Hell
$32
yeah.
instead.
But it's what?
$32.
Oh, okay. Still, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also
Hey guys, so I have super sorry, but I have an unexpected UPS delivery that I didn't know was coming, so I have to go down and get that. So
yeah,
you guys
go get
just
that's fine.
You do you.
Go for it.
We'll keep chatting.
Yeah, I guess they also announced they're continuing Mandalorian, which is
I mean, yeah, of course
Season
they are.
3.
It's too successful. That's my thing about Disney is that makes me nervous is I don't know that they have the creative integrity to let something die when it's done.
Yeah.
Well, because at the end of the day, they're a business trying to make money, right? So they try to squeeze every fucking cent out of it.
But it's a business in a creative sense, right? So you're trying to own an IP, but how far does the Mandalorian really need to go? Like, I think we have maybe one more season before I think the show could wrap up quite neatly. But there's a part of me that doesn't think that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? There's a part of me that thinks they'll find a new thread to keep going, and it will last like 4 or 5 seasons or 6. And by 6 seasons, I'm just going to be like, it's been going on for so long. Like, you could have ended it gracefully, neatly, a while ago. But that's my problem with almost any American television. It's why I find it like kind of hard to get into any drama, is because I know they're not really motivated by storytelling. They're really motivated by sort of that greed to keep going.
The initial motivation is the storytelling and the art of it, and then once it's successful, it's
but then it gets successful, and they're like, well, we can't end the show now, even though like for instance, I haven't finished Breaking Bad, but I know this even happened in Breaking Bad. They made 6 seasons, which is like, it's tight, it's clean, it's 6, fine. But the creator was like, I knew I could have ended it at any point. I knew exactly where I wanted to end it, and I only needed like a season arc to do it.
Yeah.
So he was just like, kind of dangling there, and it just, it's just one of those things where you're like, man.
Yeah. To give Breaking Bad a little bit credit, season 7 wasn't necessary, but it still was, in my opinion, like a decent season and like a good ending to the show. Yeah,
but the thing is like almost none of it is necessary. There's a certain amount of bloat in every TV show that is acceptable.
Yeah.
Like just the addition of new characters, the addition of new complications to the plot, the addition of like side characters and additional foils, right? So like you have all these things that sort of start to get jumbled in the mix. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched Lost, and I know I bring it up occasionally.
No, I haven't.
But Lost is this fucking example to a T. First of all, they didn't know where they're fucking going. So they started a show with a great concept and a great energy, and you're like, okay, well, this is really, really intriguing. And then you watch it for 2.5, 3 seasons, and you're like, you don't know where the fuck you're going.
Yeah.
It's so lost.
And then it just keeps fucking going, dude. And they keep adding new shit, and they're like, oh yeah, that thing that you thought was bad was just misunderstood, and let's turn it on its head and introduce new plot and all this stuff. It takes forever.
Yeah, that's why it's called Lost, John.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Jack, holy shit, you blew the whole thing wide open.
It's like they knew what they were doing the entire time.
So
We're gonna get crazy.
My fear is what they're doing right now with all these Star Wars shows is they're taking a bunch of shit and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And then they're going to run
100%,
that thing that sticks into the ground.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, that was really popular. Let's do 9 seasons. And you're like,
I'm glad that they saw the fan cry for like a final season of Clone Wars, and they just did a final season and that's it. And they just stopped. Right? Because I think they could have very easily been like season 8. Right, and people would have still fucking ate it up. I think, no problem.
I would watch season 8.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I'm glad that they just did season 7. To be honest, they did. They could have just done those last 3 episodes.
I agree.
And just made that like a fucking movie or something, and just like left it at that.
But they had all this work like 90% done, so they just finished.
True.
Yeah.
True. But no, I 100% agree. That's definitely my concern with all the content, and it's just it's the unfortunate case of being a fan of any of these IPs, these really big IPs. It's just the problem.
Once they just get big, they can't be stopped.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Stop.
That was my fear, is that like, will they have the creative integrity to like actually finish a show, or will they just keep it going because it's popular?
Yeah, and exactly. It's the creative integrity. It's exactly about like, when it starts off, it's about like a singular vision. Like you can say whatever you want for the end of time about like episode 4 and New Hope, but it is without a doubt and will always be the single most like pure and like creative vision version of Star Wars.
True.
Right? Like anything that comes after it is colored by the reaction to Star Wars and the fact that Star Wars is a popular franchise.
Yeah.
Similar to that is Marvel, right? Like the MCU, and with Iron Man and those early films, and how the MCU has changed and morphed into something different because of the popularity of the MCU. It is no longer the same kind of movies that Iron Man and the first Thor and the first Captain America were.
Yeah.
To wit, we also have a list of all of the Marvel shit that is coming out.
Hit me with that.
There is so much. Now, again, this is a list of things that we both already knew about and things that are brand new. I didn't parse it out because, again, some stuff was like rumored, some stuff was announced, but we hadn't seen it, all that kind of stuff. So this is just a list of things, Marvel things that have not yet been released that we know are eventually coming. The first one is something called Marvel Studios Legends, which looks to be kind of like what like the gallery or whatever for the Mandalorian was. It's going to be kind of like a look back on like the early days of the MCU and stuff, and like behind the scenes and like how the MCU started. I think that's really cool, but I feel like there's not really much to say about that beyond like, yeah, the MCU started and here's what it was,
Honestly, I wish that more like behind the scenes content existed like that. I actually really enjoy that stuff as much as I haven't. Actually, I think I did finish the Mandalorian one. It was just really interesting. I don't take enough time to appreciate the people who are creating this. Even though I now know, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau by name, I don't know the rest. Like, I don't know who the fucking like character designers are, or the fucking prop or set designers, or the fucking other directors in some of the episodes. Like, I don't know who they are, and I think I'd like to, especially in the stuff that I literally eat up and fucking is a huge part of my goddamn life because I'm a big fucking nerd.
That's true.
Yeah, it's really cool to get to look sort of behind the curtain and not just see the actors, but see the people who actually make it all
Give
function.
me an excuse to continue sitting on my ass, but then learn about the people who are making the show.
Because I actually think about this a lot, as an actor, is people who, like, whether a project is good or bad, so much of like the popular conception of it rests on the actor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And people
100%.
kind of have to like dive farther in, like, because realistically, a decent to kind of not great performance can be nestled in a really good film, and likewise a really good performance can be in a really bad film.
Yeah.
Look at Ewan McGregor for the most of Star Wars 3 and 2.
And I think it's a shame that, like, realistically, unless you're like superstar power and you're in on like the pre-production level and you're really helping shape a project, realistically, most actors don't actually have that big of an influence on like the shape of a project. We just don't.
Yeah.
Well, even that depends on like the director and like what the piece is, right? Like, because like, you know, depending on how specific you want the dialogue or the scenes to go, an actor may have, as you know, next to nothing to like a lot of freedom as to how they can like interpret the scene, and that changes project to project as well. So it's just,
exactly. But so much of what that's going to end up looking like is decided way before casting is even done. Like, again, aside from like really big A-list kind of celebrity stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if Tom Cruise is attached to a project, Tom Cruise fucking dictates what that project is, you know?
I think it's funny because that was literally the other name. That was the name in my head the entire time you were saying. I'm like, yeah, like Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Well, he's the biggest one because he also like straight up produces his shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I don't get to jump out of a fucking plane, we're not doing this movie.
Did you guys hear about his most recent upset?
Oh no.
Yeah, he flipped out on some crew for like breaking COVID protocols on set.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it was kind of a mixed weird thing because he wanted people to follow COVID protocols, but he also was kind of like, the way he ranted about it was kind of in a weird, selfish way. He was like, I don't want my fucking movie to get shut down. Like, fuck you guys. But it was in response to someone like breaking COVID shit. It was really
also
weird.
talking about like how many eyes were on his project, basically. Like, you know, Hollywood is looking to us and like the industry is looking to us to like do this properly. And like, if we want the industry to keep going and we want like all these people to have fucking jobs, we need to be responsible. Because like if the movie gets shut down, that's like a bad sign for like the entire fucking industry.
Yeah.
True.
But it was a very, I think it was mostly like, obviously he blew up, and like blowing up like that is kind of not really cool, but it was in good intention. Like, it was weird. Yeah, it's a very weird thing.
You're like, I agree with you, but also you're an asshole.
I don't know. I think with COVID, like, losing it on people is justified. Like, you need to be super professional on a film set, and then on top of that, like, people are dying.
No, I think I agree with you, but yeah, I think it's just that I think that's what the take has been kind of like, all right, Tom Cruise, fucking chill the fuck out, but because I don't know what he did, I don't think anyone.
Yeah, like, I don't know the situation, but I think it's like a different context than like that one that went famous a while ago of like Christian Bale getting mad at some like grip for like being in the shot or whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's like they're different levels. You know what I mean? Like, they're just different.
Are you fucking professional? Wasn't it like a photographer or something? I can't remember. Yeah,
I don't remember who it was.
It was the director of photography or something, or like the DPA or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And literally, it's just that he was moving while they were rolling.
And he thought it was distracting, and he just flipped out. Yeah.
Different
that
levels.
movie flopped. So.
Yep.
Was it worth it?
It was his Terminator movie, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw it. It's a part of it.
It's forgettable. It's like a gray post-apocalyptic sci-fi.
We're also getting WandaVision, which we knew about.
That one I'm curious about because
So
we've
this
now
is-
gotten like a trailer.
We keep getting trailers. There's like a few different ones out now, which is cool. But this is something. So if you guys don't know, one of Sam's all-time favorite comic book characters is Scarlet Witch.
What?
Like, we have
That's a surprise to me.
Scarlet Witch books on our shelf, one of our shelves somewhere. I don't know. They're over there, I think. Just love Scarlet Witch. And one of the things that's really cool is that Scarlet Witch is defined by being like, she's been like retconned and changed, and like her history is all over the place. And whether she's a mutant or not, whether she's related to Magneto or not, she's had like emotional breakdowns that because of her powers have like created alternate realities and like changed the fabric of fucking space-time. So what I think is really cool is they're like using that thing, and a lot of that, you know, like the big retcons and alternate realities and stuff is like really comic booky, and they're translating that like idea and concept into film language where it's like different eras of TV and different genres of TV, which is sort of like the TV show equivalent of all of her weird comic book stuff. And they're not just doing like a direct adaptation of that, but they're taking like the seed of that idea and altering it, which I always think is really, really cool adaptation.
Yeah.
When you don't just like directly do the thing, but you take like the spirit and the essence and then translate it into a new medium.
To be honest, that's something I've constantly commented on about the MCU in general, is that like I think it's really cool that like this saga of films is so large now that if you're a Captain America fan, you can just watch the Captain American films and then the other films that Captain America is in. And that, because that's like what I do, is like I don't read that many comics, but like that's what I do as a comic reader. I'm like, oh, I really care about like Wolverine, so I'm gonna read all the X-Men comics and like Wolverine comics that he's in, and read all like the big stories he's part of. But like, I'm not going to, also it's next to impossible because of how many fucking comic books there are, but I'm not gonna read every fucking character that's in this big saga film or comic. I'm not gonna read all their fucking stories right up to that big arc, because it's just gonna like, it's gonna be too much, and I want to read like the cool big epic one. So I just think it's really cool that like we have this huge catalog of films and it's still growing, and shows and everything, that you can just be like, yeah, I'm a big fan of Iron Man, so I've watched Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, and I watched the Avengers films. And I just think that's a very comic book way to go about it. And I just think that's fucking rad that we can do that with film now. I think it's really, really interesting.
It's really cool. Speaking of films, we also have Black Widow, obviously, which is the long doomed Black Widow movie because of COVID. It was supposed to be out already.
Yeah, didn't they already announce they're gonna do a Mulan with it?
I can't remember. I know that was a rumor.
They're doing a Mulan with it? What?
Like releasing it on Disney Plus for a charge, and then full on Disney Plus later.
By the way, don't watch Mulan.
I've heard.
Don't do it.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Apparently Black Widow has a release date of May 7th, 2021 now.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think it sucks because, like, you know, a big deal is like female-led superhero movies, and both Wonder Woman and Black Widow, who is the original female superhero in the MCU, got completely boned because of COVID.
Oh yeah.
It just fucking blows.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked about it. It looks fun. She finally got her own movie, which she fucking deserved. Like, Scarlett Johansson's been putting in work for fucking a decade now. So
yeah.
We got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is probably the thing that I'm personally the most hyped about, and it comes out on my birthday.
Hell
what?
Yeah. Yeah, we finally got a trailer for that one.
Yeah, we got a trailer.
Like a good trailer.
Very stoked about it. Very excited. Obviously, as a big fucking Captain America shill, I'm stoked to see like his two principal like sidekicks and partners get their own kind of spin-off.
I'm more interested in seeing more Winter Soldier because he was very quiet in the last few films. Excited to, and like even from the trailer alone, you can tell how much more just lines and shit that they've given Sebastian. And I'm excited to hear their banter and
which
shit.
Is obviously like the trade-off between like a solo film versus an ensemble film, right?
Totally. Yeah. I'm excited to essentially see the two of them like share the Captain America mantle, kind of. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, like I'm curious how they're gonna do that, because of course in the comics they have both separately been Captain America, and in the MCU like the shield was very specifically passed off to Falcon. But I'm curious how the two of them are gonna navigate that.
They're both Captain America.
We're both Captain America
we
now.
share the shield.
I have a weird feeling it's gonna
like
be
a friendship bracelet. They like cut it in half.
Exactly what I was thinking.
They just get one arm shield, kind of like happened in Infinity War.
Each get half of the shield.
I think I kind of see a bit of a dynamic of like Falcon being captain, but then like I don't know, like not really knowing how to like carry the mantle, and so Bucky, he's like, you know, Falcon's kind of like, Bucky, how the fuck should I do this? And Bucky's like, all right, let's just fucking go. And like, and they kind of end up like naturally sharing the role a little bit. Like, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting.
Well, the thing I like is that, you know, Falcon came to becoming Cap's partner like when he was already fucking, holy shit, you're Captain America, right? Like his whole thing is like, if Captain America says we're doing this, I'm fucking doing it because he's Captain America, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas Bucky, his whole thing is that he knew Steve, right? Like he was Steve's best friend before all the Captain America stuff. So they have kind of different understandings of even like who Steve was, like who the first Captain America was. And I really hope we get to see that like
I think Falcon might get a little overwhelmed by the mantle, by the title, and then Bucky's just gonna be like, sure, I'll be Captain America, like whatever, this is fucking dumb Boy Scout looking motherfucker, like whatever.
I'm stoked. And then just for you, Brandon, we're also getting Loki.
Yeah, Brandon, just for you.
Just for you.
You're the only person allowed to watch it.
I'm the only person allowed to watch it. I was very intrigued by the trailer. Like, really intrigued
There's all
by the
kinds of
trailer.
shit going on.
I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
looks great.
this is nuts. But I think that's up that same alley as WandaVision. Just gonna be like a weird AU, like, what the fuck is going on, like what if almost, right? Which is gonna be kind of fun. I'm just looking at chat real quick. Melissa, I have been asking for a buddy cop show between them since their frenemy relationship in Civil War. I think Falcon is the face since Winter Soldier has some PR issues, but they both do the work. Honestly, I think Bucky would be fine with that. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, which I think is kind of what I was getting to, right? It's kind of like, like Winter Soldier doesn't want to be Captain America, but I'd argue like he kind of fits the job a little bit better. Like, it's kind of weird, right? So I think it'll be fun. Apparently, also Chadwick Boseman has already had lines recorded already for What If.
Yeah, that's gonna be the last time we see him.
It's gonna be so sad.
I think he's playing Star-Lord.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw that in the trailer. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really, really interesting.
I don't know what if is.
We'll get there.
Don't
Don't worry.
We'll get there. Yeah.
No,
Actually, you know
looking
what?
it up.
We're skipping one thing. We'll talk about What If right now. So What If is a comic book series that was where the Watcher came from. The Watchers were created to be this concept of like they oversee like alternate realities and stuff. And the idea is like, what if this one specific thing was different? And so what if the cartoon is going to be like that, but set like within sort of the reality of the MCU? So they're saying like, what if T'Challa was picked up like by the Reavers?
Yeah.
And like started traveling through space and stuff. So like T'Challa becomes like the Star-Lord kind of character. The other one they sort of set on was what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum? Interesting. So it's like stuff like that. Like what if reality was kind of the same, but this one really pivotal thing changed? What would happen? And it's kind of like how DC has Elseworlds, you know, like Superman Red Son and like Batman Gotham by Gaslight and all these sort of like alternate reality takes on the characters. It's the same thing. It was just sort of an umbrella term they used to publish comics, and now they're doing an animated series. It's all voiced by like the MCU actors and stuff, which is really cool. Yeah. I think they're introducing Marvel Zombies and stuff in that.
I saw Marvel Zombies and I was like, I think it was Zombie Cap.
Yeah, Zombie Cap.
Oh my god, Zombie Cap.
God fucking damn it.
So yeah,
I hate it. I was just gonna say I hate it because I think both DC and Marvel have their own chunk of like zombified stories where like a character comes zombified, and like you guys already know how I feel about zombie stories. But that just made me think of another one I saw, which was the Batman TMNT crossover, which is like fun, like whatever. But what was the screen cap I saw? It was like Raphael and Batman, and Batman's like, this is where my parents died, and Raphael's in the background. He's like cowabummer. And I was like, no, this is the worst.
That's the
God
best.
damn it.
that's very good.
That's the greatest.
I
thing
also
I've
found
ever
it weird
seen.
that it was Raphael. I was like, okay, Mikey might say that, but yeah, I just thought it was really funny. I always forget that they're all just fucking like teens, though. Dumb
they're
teenagers.
all weird. It's just that,
Forever
like, the
teenagers.
most.
Well, it's like it's in the name. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
you
Right.
do?
Next up on our list, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Hell yes,
Jazz
I am
belt.
ready for this.
They
Canadian
finished. I
Asian
saw a headline
actor.
the other
Let's
day that
go.
they finished principal photography,
Hell yeah.
which is really cool. Also, I believe that the I don't know how to pronounce his name, Simu Liu, the guy who's playing Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he was like taught by like one of my acting teachers.
Yeah. I mean, he's Canadian, so that makes
He's
sense.
a Canadian act, and I just think that's always
Yeah.
cool. There's like that
Yeah.
little degree of separation.
Good. Some of that
Um,
good.
Yeah, and I'm just stoked. Maybe it'll have some sick ass kung fu, which is what I want so
Because
badly.
we didn't get that in Iron Fist.
'Cause we didn't
What?
get it.
What?
Suck.
The Iron Fist is bad.
And then we got Miss Marvel. We got like our first little sneak peek. I don't think we got a full trailer, but we got kind of like a talking heads interspersed with some footage.
Yeah, she was like, I think there was
Talk
like a
about it.
shot of her like walking down her like high school hallway or something, or like
Yeah, and there's like little snippets of her with like a buddy. I think they were like designing her costume at one point.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for her to get a movie. I think it's really awesome.
I love Kamala. I think Miss Marvel is a really fun character. I'm super jazzed. I hate the name just because I hate all of Marvel's characters that are just Marvel in the name, because it's just branding. It has
Marvel
nothing
Knight.
to do with the fucking character.
Yeah.
It's the worst. The best was the original Captain Marvel, because at least they like justified it that like his name was Marvel. He was an alien, so then people like humans called him Captain Marvel because he was Captain Marvel. They at least tried to find a way to like make it make sense, but I fucking hate it. Like Jean Grey's original codename on the X-Men was just Marvel Girl. Like, what does that even fucking mean?
Yeah, like
You're a
Miss.
fucking
The funny thing
telepathic
is
telekinetic.
the funny thing is that Miss Marvel doesn't bother me because the whole point is that she's like a fan of Captain Marvel. So like, it doesn't bug me as much.
Yes.
Like, it bugs me that Captain Marvel's called Captain Marvel,
Yes,
but the fact
exactly.
that she's called Miss Marvel, I'm like, yeah, like that's the point. Like, she's a super fan. Like, that's just what she's doing, right?
So that makes sense. And like Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers' original superhero name was Miss Marvel, and she herself was Miss Marvel because she got her powers from Captain Marvel, Marvel. So like, there's a train of thought that makes sense, but I just hate it.
But the current Captain Marvel, that's not the case. She's just called Captain Marvel, and you're like, sure, why not?
Yeah, because she took the mantle from the previous Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But in the
Exactly.
intervening years, there was also Monica Rambeau, who was another female Captain Marvel, and she has photon powers, and she has nothing to do with the other Captain Marvel. Eventually, they changed her name to Photon, which makes way more fucking sense because she can literally turn into light. But then they changed it
Sure.
to Pulsar because the son of Captain Marvel wanted to name Photon. It's really complicated.
I'm
Anyway,
Superman.
I'm pretty confused.
The Miss Marvel show looks really cute. I'm very excited.
Mhm.
Another show we're getting is Hawkeye.
Yes.
And that's fun because it looks like it's going to be a little bit of like Clint Barton passing the mantle to Kate Bishop and like training up
Yeah,
a new Hawkeye.
I
Yes.
think the way they're doing it is Kate Bishop is the main character. I think.
Yeah, that's
Could
what it
be
looks
wrong,
like.
though, but and I think we've seen. I don't know if you've seen them, but there's been set
Yeah.
photos
Yeah.
released and some stills and
And
stuff.
they showed off like
What's
her
her
outfit and
name
stuff.
again? She was in Pitch Perfect.
Haley
She's-
Steinfeld?
Yeah, she's
Steinfeld?
mainly a singer, I think. Yeah, but yeah, cool, sweet. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's pretty good. I've seen like I don't know. I've seen her in some stuff and just nothing crazy, but she's not like a bad actress by any means. So yeah, looks fun.
Yeah, it seems like they're starting to like, build up like a bit of a Young Avengers thing. Like I feel like their goal is to have Peter kind of potentially lead kind of other younger heroes that are taking up the mantle of other characters.
It's it's always hard to think about because it feels like a lot of work and it's crazy, but we've had these other people who have been in, Marvel and Star Wars for like a decade that like it totally makes sense to see these, quote unquote kids. I mean, I think Tom Holland is the same age as Julie, so he's like 3 years younger than us. But there's like you can totally see him just being Peter Parker for the next 10 plus years. And then we get the older Peter Parker, and then we see all these other fucking, the girl who's playing Miss Marvel, the girl who's playing Hawkeye, like all this stuff, them growing up and just like playing the characters growing older. And like, then you have this like huge library of content, just as you get, like you would with the comics. So you can just kind of like watch what you want. Like, it's a little bit mind blowing, to be honest.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so
a little
crazy.
bit mind blowing.
I'm only a little bit jealous of all these people who get to be in the MCU.
Oh,
And by
yeah,
a
she
little bit-
was the Bumblebee movie girl.
Oh,
I
cool.
remember that. Yeah, she's a girl from Bumblebee.
Very cool. We're also getting Eternals, which is the thing we've I think seen like the least of.
Eternals.
Yeah.
I know
The
nothing
only
about this.
person I know who's in it is Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. There's a couple other people that I know that are in
Yeah.
it. Kumail Nanjiani's in it. The guy I can't think of his name. This is terrible. But the guy who plays Jon Snow is in it.
Harrington.
Kit Harington.
Kit Harington, yeah.
Yes.
Kit Harington. He's in it.
don't
The
worry.
Eternals are like genetically built super beings that were sent by the Celestials to Earth to like safeguard humanity from these other things. They have like, in some versions, you can kind of imply that a lot of like mythological figures from history may have been Eternals or been like misconstrued to have been Eternals or something.
Yeah, because who is it that Angelina Jolie is playing? She's playing like
They all have like their own names. This was Jack Kirby, and the thing you have to understand about Jack Kirby was that he was into like wild fucking like sci-fi shit. Jack Kirby's also the guy who brought us like the New Gods and Darkseid and Apocalypse and stuff for DC. And like the mother boxes and like all that shit. That's all Jack Kirby. So it's basically like that level of like crazy, like the, you know, the Celestials that you briefly see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. You see them like marching when they're like showing like the history of the Infinity Stones and like the Power Stone, and they like wipe out the planets, like this giant robot with a staff and like just big circles for eyes and stuff. Those are the Celestials, and that art style that's like very like circles connected by lines and like weird shapes and stuff. That's all Jack Kirby.
Well, he's also credited with like the golden age of Thor and stuff too, right?
Yeah. He also co-created the X-Men with Stan Lee. Like he's like 60s like Silver Age helping. It's like him, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, like fucking made Marvel in the 60s, and he was all about that like wild sci-fi fucking high concept shit.
Yeah.
Like traveling to the negative zone and like weird eldritch beings and shit. Like that's all Jack Kirby. And we're getting a show. I have no idea what the direction's going to be, what they're going to do with it, but we're getting a show.
Is it a show, not a movie?
Or sorry, movie. I meant movie.
Okay, yeah.
I know nothing about the Eternals, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's also wild. It's also really fun for me to see like Marvel stuff that like I know a little bit about. Like there's nothing in Marvel that I know like nothing about for the most part, but it's always fun to get something that I like know less about, because it can be like,
well,
more
that was kind of
surprising,
like that was like kind of like Guardians, at least for me.
Yeah.
Right. Like we knew generally who was part of the team and stuff, but didn't really know a lot about them. So it was legitimately like, I'd still argue Guardians of the Galaxy is one of, if not like my favorite film in the MCU still.
Guardians was like, also fun because it was like a new take on the Guardians. Like because the Guardians in the comics were also quite different.
Yeah,
at
like
the time, the Guardians in the comics now are the movie Guardians, but before the movie, they were very different.
Yeah, like I'd argue the character that's the closest to their comic book iteration is probably Gamora.
Yeah, well, even just like the lineup. I mean, like
like the original
like
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Groot, Rocket, and Gamora were very much like the same characters, from what I can recall. But
I know
the lineup
Groot is
of
sometimes interpreted like way fucking scarier in the comics.
That's true.
Like I have a couple of Guardians of the Galaxy comics that even came out like during the marketing for that movie, and like Groot is terrifying. Like he's not meant to look like a nice dude. He's like this. Yeah, he's like the fucking ugly tree folk cards you get in Magic. Like just like this fucking awful thing.
I mean, if we discovered alien tree people, why would they look like nice tree people? Why wouldn't they look like evil tree people?
Why any more likely to be evil than nice?
I don't know.
I've met some nice trees.
We're also getting Spider-Man 3, which doesn't have a subtitle yet.
I'm just saying, why would they look, if they're aliens, why would they look appeasing to us humans?
I understand.
Yes. But I think the random factor, they could look any which way from Sunday.
Exactly.
And I'll admit, most of those ways are terrifying. Horrible.
That's my point. We're talking about plantoids.
A nice cherry blossom alien tree.
With like 7 eyes around a mouth.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly. With eyes literally all around its trunk.
And I
hate that.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, like a jellyfish.
Like a jellyfish tree with a sarlacc mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but a reverse sarlacc mouth on the
rewrite
on the undercarriage.
But this.
With the ability to burrow underground.
Of course.
To trap.
It's no longer a tree creature.
No longer a tree.
I don't know, but it is a really cool alien.
It is horrible, and I love
land jellyfish.
We're getting Spider-Man 3, which doesn't have a subtitle yet, and there's been all kinds of like wild fucking rumors, but also potentially confirmed shit that like all these old villain actors and shit are coming back, and people think it's
became a meme.
Multiverse.
It became a fucking meme because everyone was like, oh, hey, I played an extra in Spider-Man 2, and guess what, guys? I've just been confirmed as Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It's like, shut the fuck up. God damn it.
Oh, do you remember the pizza guy from Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
He's the main character.
Mr. Aziz?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think the only one they've confirmed is... I feel so bad for forgetting his name. Doc Ock.
Fox? Oh, no. Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina, yeah, that's the only one that they've
I
confirmed.
think I think Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina are both confirmed.
Jamie Foxx is confirmed too. Wow, okay.
Yeah, he
and then I think the
tweeted
one
about it
that's
and
like
then deleted it, and like it was a whole thing.
I think the one that's not like officially confirmed, but like super heavy rumored is the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield rumor.
Yeah, that like those actors are coming back.
Yeah, which like to be honest, it makes sense because they kind of hint at it in 2. You don't like it?
No.
You don't like it? Wow.
I don't think Tom Holland's like you can do Spider-Verse eventually,
No.
but I don't think Tom Holland's story is done yet, and I think it's a cop out to get out of like the big cliffhanger that like his identity is out. They're just gonna be able to be like, there's other Spider-Man now, and look, there's fucking Peter, and there's Spider-Man. He can't be the same guy. Oh, fucking problem solved. And like,
Interesting.
Yeah,
potential
exactly.
status
Problem
quo
solved.
change.
We're done.
the potential status quo change of like people either know or heavily suspect that Peter is Spider-Man. Like, how does he deal with that? I think we were finally going to get something that like really let Tom Holland's Peter Parker like stand on his own and do his own thing and make his mark as Spider-Man. And if this happens, I will be very sad because it just like it's just going to be like nostalgia bait undercutting his storyline. Like, not a fan.
I can guarantee it's probably a multiverse storyline for sure. Because they're gonna double down on how successful Into the Spider-Verse was, and Marvel didn't see a fucking cent, or Sony or Disney didn't see a cent of that. So
Yeah,
they want to get
a bad
in on
idea.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about creative integrity, and this has none of that.
That. Yeah, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad.
like-
I'm just saying it's definitely a thing that's happening though.
Money.
Yeah, and I think that sucks. I think that really sucks.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, obviously, we can't prosecute it till it's out. Until I see it, and then I go, yeah, it was a bad movie. That was a bad choice.
I don't think it's entirely
Maybe
out
they'll pull it
of
off.
left field though, because they did, though it is a very minor thing. They did mention the multiverse in Far From Home, and like because it came out just after Spider-Verse, I was like, oh shit, like are they actually gonna fucking like do that? And I think they're just now doubling down on it.
I think the thing you're misremembering is that the person who brought us the multiverse information was a liar.
No,
Yeah,
I
it was
know,
theory,
but they still brought the idea to the big screen, and Peter was like, oh shit, like because Peter was even saying that like he's thought about that kind of stuff, and he's like,
that can
oh,
happen.
like holy shit, like that does exist, right? And then the thing is that Mysterio was kind of like yeah, sure, there's a multiverse kid, right? And then there ends up actually being a multiverse.
Well, the thing is, like, the next movie we're talking about is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
And that too, yeah.
So we're getting that. We're getting, WandaVision. We're getting What If. Like, the MCU is exploring the multiverse. Like, absolutely, for sure. That's a thing that is happening.
The barrel is running empty.
I will be disappointed if that's the focus for this third Spider-Man film. Because I don't think that the Spider-Man story necessarily is there yet. They could do a really cool version of it, and like I'm like, oh shit, I was fucking wrong. That's dope. Just my gut reaction is like, it's not. Don't do it yet. Now's not the time.
I think it's something. I don't know if this is a thought from Marvel's standpoint, but it's interesting to think about how you could go. Like obviously, multiverse is just like the big fucking catchphrase right now because of Into the Spider-Verse and how fucking popular that was. It was like, yo, what the fuck's a multiverse? And then people are finding out that Marvel's done multiverses all the fucking time, and it's like a big deal. I feel like it's an interesting direction to go, that then when they get to the end of this whole multiverse idea, whether there's going to be more films or TV shows that do this on top of the stuff we already have, they can then kind of decide to either use the multiverse to retcon shit and do more stuff, or they can still come back to what was there before, or do both, right? Like I think that's the interesting thing with the multiverse idea, is that you can then do the AUs or whatever, and then you can just have more content. So from again, unfortunately, from like a business perspective, it's kind of a smart move, because
of course,
then you can do all kinds of content, which I don't necessarily think is a bad idea. I think it's actually really smart. So as much as you might be worried that we're getting this like quote unquote like multiverse story with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, we could still get the Spider-Man movie you're wanting as for or afterwards or whatever, post multiverse, right?
Yes, I think my thing is that, if a character directly interacts with the multiverse, it changes the dynamic.
True.
Like
Right.
like if Tom Holland is swinging around and he like He's like, oh yeah, there are like other Spider-Men out there in other universes, and like, because already I think one of the problems for me as a Spider-Man fan that this has is that Spider-Man got like fucking thrown into the deep end like super fast. And like Spider-Man's kind of whole appeal is, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's looking out for the little guy and stuff. And they keep like he originally turns down the offer to join the Avengers in the first movie because he's like, no, I want to look out for the little guy and whatever. And then in the second movie, he gets like, as far as he knows, at the beginning, thrown into this whole big thing where it's like the multiverse fucking rests on you now, and Shield's coming to just you, and there's no other heroes, and you have to save all of reality. And then if the third movie is also, hey, here's fucking multiverse shenanigans, and then you've already also done the big Avengers crossover where you fought Thanos, like we don't really have room for him to just be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and do the Spider-Man thing that Spider-Man is about.
True. You don't think you could do a similar story to Into the Spider-Verse?
Like, again, you can do that story, but like Into the Spider-Verse was not about Miles protecting the city. Into the Spider-Verse was about like, it's a self-acceptance story, and it's about like realizing who he is and accepting that he can be his own person. And that is a good story to tell, but they've also already told that story with Tom Holland's Spider-Man twice with his relationship with Iron Man.
True.
And if they then do it with his relationship with other Spider-Men, it's just more of, when do we actually get to see him then be his self-realized, actualized version of Spider-Man doing the Spider-Man stuff?
It's this constant like infantilization of Peter.
Yeah.
More, and it's like, okay, we had the first movie, we literally had Civil War where he shows up and he's like, I'm Spider-Man. He's like a child, and everyone goes, yeah, you're a child. And then we have his movie where he literally, has the moment where he's like, I'm Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man. He lifts the building, and you're like, okay, I'm not Spider-Boy, Spider-Child, he's Spider-Man. He accepts the mantle of his like adulthood.
Yeah.
And then you have the second movie where he regresses again on his decision. And you're like, I'm not Spider-Man. I want to be chill. I want to be a teenage kid again. You're like, you accepted the mantle of responsibility in the last movie. You also fought Thanos. Why are you regressing right now?
I think it doesn't feel as weird in Far From Home though, because it's the reaction to literally his like mentor dying. So it's like, so it feels different where it's like, oh, like, okay, yeah, I was ready to be an Avenger in the last films, but now, I actually have to be the Avenger now. Oh, fuck.
And that would be good if the story was more about grief, but it's not really about grief.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really about the things that we do while we're grieving and how we aren't our best selves.
Right.
It's really about ignoring your grief and being your best self regardless, in a way. So it doesn't really, like, I see your point, but at the same time, I think there's enough evidence to be like, I still think that was the wrong narrative decision.
Right. Like I have issues with the Sam Raimi movies, but like most people's favorite is Spider-Man 2, and it does like the Spider-Man No More storyline, and that handles, in the first movie he's not Spider-Man. He tries to be famous. He gets Uncle Ben killed, which I think is another key point. We haven't seen it, but we know in the MCU that Uncle Ben had to have died. And so to then have his reason to stop being Spider-Man being his mentor's death, when the reason that he started being Spider-Man was his mentor's death, also doesn't really gel. But in Spider-Man No More, it starts to be about like, the pressures of being Spider-Man and how it's affecting his life and how he can't be a normal person. And they kind of try to do that in Far From Home, but they also do with like the pressure of, everybody's asking me if I'm going to be the next Iron Man.
Everyone's asking me if I'm back.
Which I think is interesting, but again, it frames his being Spider-Man and his being a hero in relation to somebody else's expectations of him, which he already overcame in his first film where he decided not to be an Avenger. And he said he was going to look out for the little guy and that he was going to go be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And he also had the thing, it's like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole point of the first movie. He's like, I don't need the suit. I don't need the bells and whistles. I am
Spider-Man.
Exactly.
And so Into the Spider-Verse was doing that story, but with a totally different context. So if they try to do that same thing where like Tobey Mcguire and Andrew Garfield show up and they're like, hey man, you can be Spider-Man too, just do it your own way. It would be like, yeah, I spent 2 fucking movies already learning that.
It's because Tom Holland will always look like a boy. He can't grow up at all.
That's true. Will not always be
Yeah, but that
Always
sucks.
be like a baby child.
like a little boy.
But you can still do that. Like, it's really funny, but there's like that scene in the original Spider-Man 2 when like they take his mask off on the train and he's just a kid no older than my son, and it's like, dude, he's the same age as you. He's not a kid.
That's true. And I remember
Oh.
watching that, and I was like, this is weird. He definitely looks like your age.
Right?
Well, I think, to be honest, Tobey Maguire was really young in those films. I think we kind of have like weird, not nostalgia goggles, but like we didn't realize how old he was because he just looked much older than we were when that movie came out.
He was not as young as he was supposed to be.
He's 45 right now, Brandon.
I mean, Andrew Garfield played a teenager and he was 30, so...
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, I'm pretty sure, with Tobey Maguire. He's like,
I don't think so.
almost...
Okay, when
He's
the first
45 right
when
now.
the first Spider-Man movie came out, the first one, he was already 27.
Dude, that is old.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And the second one came out 2 years later, so he was older than like Jack, you, me, and Brandon, and Sean. You're 29 now, right?
I'm 29 at the end of January.
Almost 29. So he was basically Sean's age when the second one came out.
Yeah.
And this guy who was like maybe 5 years older than us was like, he's no older than my son.
It's really good. He's no
He
older
had
than
a
my
kid.
son. It's like, would you have a kid at 5? You fucking creep.
He was playing like a and 2, was he a college student?
He was a college student. in
College
two.
student.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they graduated him out of high school
The-
in the
the-
first movie. Which
Problem
I have all my problems with the Raimi movies. That was my favorite fucking thing. They were like, okay, he spent like 50 issues of the original Stan Lee Steve Ditko run in high school. Let's fucking get him out of high school. Thank you, God. Fuck, I'm so sick of high school Peter.
High
Jesus
school drama,
Christ.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that they do like a decent arc for him in the third Spider-Man movie. I think something that is fair to say is that like we are not your average Spider-Man movie watcher, especially you, Kelly. Like you're like not everyone's gonna have like the wants and desires that you have for the
of course.
films.
No, I know.
And because we've explored a lot of Spider-Man's origin story in 2 other different franchises. Which I think is, I'd argue, why Far From Home and Homecoming are as different as they already are. That I think they want to, and they've been doing a decent job so far. So I hope that they continue his story in a good way. But I think they also want to do like some new stuff while also trying to make a good business practice and like double down on a popular thing.
No,
So
and
we'll see
again,
what
I'm just
happens.
thinking about like the storytelling versus the business. I'm not saying that making another like multiverse Spider-Man story doesn't make business sense. But like Sean was talking about the creative integrity earlier, and I just feel like, this Spider-Man's introduction was in a big crossover event, and a lot of his character development has either happened in or happened because of other big crossover events.
Mhm.
And he hasn't had a chance to just kind of stand on his own 2 legs and like show us him just being Spider-Man.
Mhm.
And like they were kind of building up to doing like a Sinister Six kind of thing. And I would have really liked to have seen it. I think that would be a really cool way to show his development, and in a way that we haven't seen before, of like, yeah, I'm fucking Spider-Man and I can handle 6 supervillains at once and I'm gonna fucking do this shit.
Yeah.
No backup, nobody else, just me taking on a bunch of villains.
Just kidding. There's 3 of me.
Just kidding, there's 3 of me. So I'm really fighting like the Sinister 2, which is less impressive.
But there's the Sinister to the power of 1 divided by 3.
And I'm not even saying that I'm not going to have a good time. Like, I'll probably enjoy, and like, I loved Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. If he gets a chance to put the suit on again, I'll be fucking stoked. I don't know if he'd do it because he had a pretty bad time with the original movies that he made.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, iconic. Like, regardless of my feelings, iconic Spider-Man. Grew up with him, so nostalgic. If I see him wearing a Spider-Man suit, I'll still be like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool,
I think it'd be really cool. I just thought of something. I think it'd be really cool if there was something that happened in the other timelines that makes the villains or whatever show up in like this current Spider-Man's universe, and then something happens that puts Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield out of commission, and so Tom Holland is there to fucking deal with Electro and Doc Ock and whoever else might show up.
Scorpion,
that could
maybe.
yeah, Scorpion, like
Scorpio.
that could fucking be what happens. And I think that would be at least a somewhat decent way to kind of still give him a spotlight, but also like bring back these other characters and stuff, and kind of like the story in the movie not really be about the multiverse, but then have like the end of that film introducing like the concept of what could be because of the multiverse. But obviously we're gonna get Doctor Strange first, right? So
I think so,
we'll get
because it
stuff
already has
there,
a subtitle and stuff, and
yeah.
and it's apparently going to be like kind of got connected to WandaVision because Scarlet Witch is in Doctor Strange. But yeah, and Doctor Strange is going to be, I think they've described it as like the first MCU horror movie, or like having horror elements.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which would be
So it's going to be some, there's going to
Okay.
be some dark fucking shit.
Okay.
I really hope that doesn't just translate to like Doctor Strange goes to the Marvel Zombies universe. You know, like that would fucking suck. Like that's
the universe.
that's the horror element. Is like, yeah, they're all zombies. Oh god. But yeah, like again, I love fucking multiverse shit, but I think I tend to prefer it as like alternate universe stuff and from like a storytelling device as opposed to crossovers.
Yeah.
Like my personal preference is like, oh, it's really interesting to see like, you know, what would Superman be like if he grew up in Russia, but I'm usually less interested in then having Russian Superman and regular Superman meet.
I would love if they met and then they kissed.
Well, I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe has also kind of been grounded on bringing things that haven't been as popular to light into the mainstream, right? Like the whole fucking MCU is built on the fact that they made Iron Man popular. Like, what the fuck, right?
Because I love that they sold off all the rights to their most popular characters because they were the most popular ones. So then when they wanted to make a movie, they're looking in the bottom of the barrel. They're like, I don't know, we got Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Do we want to fucking make an Avengers movie? And they're like, fucking sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Is anybody gonna see it?
And now they're so popular, right? And so, you know, and the same thing happened to Guardians. The same thing happened to like Black Panther and like, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's off brand by any means to then go, okay, well, multiverse shit now, because which the irony is that they may have not even planned that because Into the Spider-Verse did that for them, and now they're like, oh, okay, well, now everyone wants that from Marvel content, so here we go.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I'd argue they probably had Doctor Strange at least somewhat on the back burner before Into the Spider-Verse was a thing, but I don't know.
It's also worth noting that, you know, once you've built up to Thanos and like, you know, all of reality is basically at stake, how do you up the stakes?
Yeah.
All of the realities are at stake.
All of them.
Oh my god. Equinox.
So yeah, we're getting Thor: Love and Thunder, which I think is cool.
I think I'm stoked the most for that one, just because I just want a fucking rock and roll 80s fucking bullshit movie, and I'm fucking excited.
It's also another example, you know, of somebody else picking up the mantle.
Yeah, like a female.
Yeah.
Because we're getting Jane Foster as Thor.
Yeah, I'm also really excited for Natalie Portman to have like a fucking like action role.
Yeah.
Like Natalie Portman has gotten the shit out of the stick in a lot of fucking content, and I'm just excited for her to just. She's gonna be Thor. Like,
yeah,
that's so fucking cool.
It's gonna be fucking
like,
awesome,
what the
dude.
fuck? I'm really excited
like-
for her because
she's gonna get the hammer and the fucking helmet and shit. It's gonna be amazing.
Because like she was so underwhelmed with her role originally, and she was like, "I'm not coming back unless I get like a fucking hella sick role." They're like, "Okay, you want to be Lady Thor?" And she was like, "Oh, okay." Okay.
Yeah.
They also just cast Christian Bale for that movie.
Yes, he's playing Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah,
He's the villain.
it'll be
No
interesting.
idea what that is.
What? Christian Bale's a villain.
A villain. We're getting Black Panther 2.
Yep,
Yes.
and they
Um,
officially announced they're not recasting. Yeah,
T'Challa.
which is-
Yeah.
I have some mixed feelings about that. Obviously, we don't have time to go into the whole thing. I can't remember if we talked about it or not. But my original gut reaction was like, no, don't recast him. But I saw something written by a black author who I want to say his name was James Barnes, but which I realize is Bucky's name, but that may be incorrect, and I very much apologize. But he was basically saying like, you know, that black culture finally got like a really big deal mainstream, like Hollywood produced fucking black superhero,
Yeah,
and that it was like a big fucking deal, especially like for a lot of black kids, and like, you know, people were going to movie theaters wearing like more traditional like African outfits and stuff, and like, it was a
It's fucking dope.
like a monumental film in a way that like the four of us I don't think can genuinely understand.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying like T'Challa's story isn't finished yet, and yes, Chadwick Boseman's passing is very, very sad, but Black Panther stands for something more than just Chadwick Boseman, and don't let T'Challa die because Chadwick Boseman died. And that is a standpoint that I hadn't considered because I don't have that experience, but I do think that would have been very meaningful. But I also like very much understand the decision to not.
I think it's kind of an interesting thing because I've been specifically reading and listening to Black people's responses because I don't really give a shit what white people think about T'Challa and everything. And I think something that's kind of cool is that it has been very like 50-50. Like I feel like I have been seeing people who are like, no, like recast T'Challa, like it's more than Chadwick Boseman, right? But then there's other people who are like, well, Black Panther is more than the character T'Challa, like let the Black Panther mantle go on to like another person, right? And I think they both give the same message for the most part. Like they're both kind of saying that like the Black Panther is bigger than whoever it is that's wearing the suit. So you can recast the character and it's great, or you can give it to another character and it's great. Like it doesn't really matter. And I think both would be good. Like I think it's kind of funny. Like I think it's kind of got to this weird point where it's like they both sides have come to an understanding, being like, yeah, I think either of these decisions might be a good idea. But yeah, who knows? We do know that they're not recasting it, but I guess we'll see what the reaction is to that.
Yep,
this is done.
Cool. We're getting Blade at some point with Mahershala Ali playing Blade.
Well, the joke is always trying to ice skate uphill,
which is fucking sick.
I
feel like you had that one locked and loaded.
I was so ready the moment you said Blade. I was like, yes, this is my favorite line from Blade.
I haven't seen the Blade films in so long.
In that role.
Yeah, dude.
He just was such a diva on set. Apparently, he's just like, no, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. That's how you get gems. Like some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Wasn't Ryan Reynolds in the third one?
Yes.
Oh my god. With Jessica Biel? Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently
are so bad. They're so good.
Sorry.
Apparently
Blade
Mahershala
Trinity.
Ali. Yeah, Blade Trinity. Apparently Mahershala Ali was just like, he was like, I want to play Blade. Let me play Blade.
Why wouldn't you? You get to say the best shit.
I love Mahershala Ali just in general.
Yeah.
I'll fucking watch anything with him in it. Have you guys seen the Green Book?
No, I haven't yet. It's like I want to watch it.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, it's based off a true story about a black pianist in like, I want to say like the 50s, 40s, maybe earlier than that. I can't remember. No, I think like 40s-ish, and it takes place in the States, and then Viggo Mortensen plays like kind of like this like bodyguard, kind of like underground mafia kind of type guy. He just gets hired all the time to make bodyguards, and he gets hired by Mahershala's character to be like his driver and his like bodyguard as he like tours across America. And it's such an interesting story because it talks a lot about like what it means to be black. And because the character the Mahershala plays is this very like white classical pianist person, but he's black, and so like his character has like a real struggle with like it's just a beautiful fucking film, and it's so good. I've heard some complaints though that apparently like their relationship wasn't as good as it was in the movie, like in real life. Like apparently it wasn't that close, and like the bodyguard and the pianist still had like a bit of like an antagonist relationship in real life, which is sad to hear. But I watched like an interview with Mahershala like talking about like doing that role because the real life person is actually quite a small tiny guy, but Mahershala is like a very large dude, and so it was just like a very interesting thing for him to do, to kind of like shallow himself and become like this kind of smaller, more like delicate person as this like piano player. It's a great movie. Julie and I saw it in theaters and it was fantastic. It was really good.
Nice. We're also going to be getting Captain Marvel 2 at some point.
Sick. Won't kill
I don't know
Danvers.
if I mentioned it, but I hate the name Captain Marvel. Okay. We're also getting a She-Hulk TV show.
Hell yeah.
Jennifer is being played by Tatiana Mansley. from Orphan Black.
Yeah,
Um,
it was fucking dope.
which is fucking rad. Also She-Hulk is really fun, really cool character.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Again, it's like we have a new Thor, we have a new Hulk, we have a new Black Panther, we're having a new Hawkeye, getting Miss Marvel. You know, we're getting all these mantles being passed down. New Captain
Getting
America,
new Spider-Man.
new Spider-Man. We're getting 3 of them.
Three Spider-Man.
We're passing the mantle on to Tobey Maguire.
You're the baby child now.
That would be very funny.
He's no older
They
than
do
my
like a
kid.
weird. They do like a weird deep fake of like old Tom Holland, young Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland's like, "Here you go."
Chris Evans shows up. He's like, "No, I'm Spider-Man."
It's
I'm
a trippy
Spider-Man
fucking
now.
film.
He's a spider. Somehow that works.
Yes.
Chris Evans shows up as Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz
We're getting
Lightyear is a boy as well.
Where are you gonna go?
we're getting a Moon Knight TV show.
Yes,
Dang.
Moon
and
Knight.
played by.
It's rumored. It's not confirmed.
Is it
It's
not?
rumored,
Oh.
It's not confirmed, but it is rumored that he's going to be played by Oscar Isaac.
Moon Knight shows up, also
Nice.
eats the spider, starts having a barbecue.
And
Is a
Moon
cannibal.
Knight is fucking cool, and I'm very excited that he's getting a
Peter
TV show.
Parker.
I have a feeling that Oscar Isaac would not have said yes to this if he didn't think the fucking script was rad.
Assuming it's true.
Assuming it's true.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy because like we all know about like Moon Knight and his fucking crazy shit going on. He's got voices in his head, all kinds of fucking weird shit. That I think it's
Moon Knight.
intriguing for Oscar Isaac if he took it. And I
For
think it's
those-
gonna be fun.
For anyone who doesn't know, brief rundown is that Moon Knight generally suffers from alternatively either some form of schizophrenia or dissociative identity disorder. It started off in the comics as just he had a bunch of different personas that he like sort of created in order to help him fight crime, but eventually he had like a mental breakdown, and going forward from that, it's described that he actually has multiple personalities.
Mhm.
And it seems like Kevin Feige said that, you know, those are going to manifest as essentially different personalities that are going to be like different characters essentially in the show.
Yeah, like Moon Cop is different from Moon Knight, who's different
Well, there's
from the
Cop.
Moon Man.
his original personality is like a mercenary, and then he created like a billionaire that was sort of like the billionaire socialite that was like the front for all the money that he made that allowed him to like schmooze with high society, like kind of Bruce Wayne style.
How do you create?
He
a
also had
billionaire?
a cab driver.
Can someone teach me how to do that?
He also had a cab driver personality that like allowed him to like stay close to like underground and like rumors that were going on the street. And then there was Moon Knight, the like superhero kind of vigilante. But on top of that, more recently, they've also introduced Mr. Knight, who's like a noir detective.
Yes.
Amazing.
And he wears like an all white suit. He's fucking sick. And there's also kind of one that's sort of like the avatar of Khonshu, because he has this whole connection to like the Egyptian moon god Khonshu, and that's where the Moon Knight thing comes from. And in some stuff, he actually has sort of like some supernatural elements where he like manifests like Khonshu as like an alternate personality or like a personality in his head, and uses that to like deal with like actual supernatural stuff. And the fun thing about Moon Knight is like, is he actually fighting supernatural stuff, or is he just believe he is?
Right, like how
And-
much of this
and-
is actually reality? Yeah.
Yeah, and like, does it matter? Right, like it's really Moon Knight's a very fascinating character. Super stoked. Giving him a TV show versus a movie is definitely the right call, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you just need time to build up all of what Moon Knight is.
Yeah, whenever Oscar's just playing one of the personalities, that'd be fun.
Yeah, or if it's gonna be like an Orphan Black situation, and like they kind of manifest them as different characters, and he plays all of them. And then on top of that, there was something else that's really cool about Moon Knight that I've forgotten. So assume that I
Right.
said a cool thing. And
Wow!
yeah, let's
That's really cool, Kelly.
move on.
Oh, have you spoken your
Wow.
oaths yet?
We're getting a Secret Invasion show.
Ooh.
Cool.
Anybody got anything? Secret Invasion?
Oh, no.
Nope.
I know nothing.
I don't know.
All right. Secret Invasion was a comic book storyline that happened after the Marvel Civil War. Basically, Skrulls had infiltrated like a bunch of humanity because they're shape changers, and they'd actually like replaced a bunch of superheroes, and it turned out they'd like replaced them for years and nobody knew, and they were launching an invasion on Earth.
Huh.
And so that was kind of what they were setting up with that teaser at the end of Far From Home when like Nick Fury's like in space and he's like with all the Skrulls and stuff. It's like a Nick Fury,
okay.
Wait,
like a Nick Fury TV show, like Disney Plus series.
Oh yeah, I saw. Okay, yeah, I did read.
And it's Secret Invasion. It has something to do with the Skrulls. I don't know what they're gonna do because in the comics the Skrulls are very like aggressive and like they're kind of
antagonistic. Yeah,
antagonistic. But like here we're like chilling with the Skrulls and like they're good guys.
The Skrulls are nice.
So I don't know what like the context of Secret Invasion is gonna be, but that's happening. It's getting Secret Invasion. So there you go. That's the Nick Fury show. We're gonna get Ironheart, which is replacement Iron Man.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Okay, so in the comics, Tony Stark was dead for a little while. This character, Riri Williams, she's a black girl. She's a student at, I want to say, MIT. She basically reverse engineers an Iron Man suit, and she becomes like a younger female Iron Man for a while. I think she calls herself Iron Woman or something. And then eventually they sort of found that her name was Ironheart. That's like her code name. She coexisted with other characters. So she's like another legacy character, you know, kind of picking up a mantle a little bit from previous characters. She's getting her own show. The Ironheart show.
That's cool.
Happening. And then connected to that, we're also getting an Armor Wars show starring War Machine.
Oh.
Don Cheadle, War Machine, Armor Wars. Comics Armor Wars was, I want to say, in the 90s, 80s. It was an Iron Man storyline where a bunch of people fucking stole Tony Stark's tech, and there's a bunch of evil Iron Mans, and he's got to go beat them. It's the Armor Wars.
Gotta beat him
So
up.
I don't know if this is going to have to do with Ironheart as well. I think it's going to be like War Machine and Ironheart. I don't know exactly what they're doing because Tony Stark isn't around. But it's probably going to be a similar concept where somebody's managed to like get a hold of like proprietary Stark tech and they're trying to like defend Tony Stark's legacy or something.
I can see a cool show about how because Iron Man doesn't know, or Iron Man, War Machine doesn't know anything about fucking how this shit works or how it's built or like how the fucking suit works. So that's when Ironheart comes in, right? And she's like, oh, like I understand the tech a little bit better, and then they gotta go like stop. He's the military guy, she's the scientist. They have to go like fucking stop the other Iron Man suits. That sounds like fun.
It kind of feels like the Iron Man version of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I'm into
right.
that.
Like these two different characters who combined kind of are the first character in a way.
Yeah.
Which is sick. We're getting Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Oh, sick.
Oh yeah, we're getting the holiday special.
Holiday special.
And I just feel like it's James Gunn being like, I'm doing Star Wars Holiday Special, but Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's gonna be amazing. Like that's what they're gonna do, right?
Into it. I want it. It's gonna be cheesy, corny shit.
It's
gonna be a lot
so
of Groot.
bad.
It's gonna be a lot of
so
Drax. It's gonna be great.
Well, speaking of Groot, we're also getting I Am
Oh,
Groot,
yeah.
which is like a series of like shorts of like Groot going on adventures with other characters, I think is the premise.
Okay.
But it's just a mini series, right?
Just
Yeah. So that's Groot. That's what Groot's doing. Groot's doing it. He's living. We're getting Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Ant-Man
What, a
3.
movie?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the third Ant-Man movie.
Third anime movie.
Cool. We're
Which-
getting like we're getting so much multiverse and like quantum realm shit. Like
yeah, like
it's insane. Like I'm very curious. Like obviously we were talking about Spider-Man, but now that I'm remembering how many other characters are going down that route, yeah, I wonder what the fuck they're gonna do.
Yeah,
Really
Multiverse.
interesting.
They're doing the multiverse.
and also I should point out that Kang the Conqueror has been confirmed to appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Interesting.
Kang is a time traveling villain, most notable for battling the Avengers.
Yeah.
I believe he's also a Jack Kirby creation. The art style alone, based on what Kang
You're
usually
right.
looks like,
If you
tells
look at
me that
him,
he looks like he looks like Jack Kirby drew him, like just straight up.
isn't he like big and purple?
He's purple and green. He's got a blue face.
yeah.
He's got like a very square head with a blue face.
Yeah, he's got to be Jack Kirby.
But he's showing
Yeah,
up.
created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
There you go. And he's kind of like a big deal Avengers villain because he's all about like time travel and alternate timelines and shit. So like, yeah, based on what they're doing with Ant-Man.
You big boy.
He first appeared in Fantastic Four, as many characters did, but
Yeah, that makes sense. I just know that he's fought the Avengers quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um,
And Fantastic
I
Four.
think Magneto first fought Fantastic Four too before he like found his footing or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or fought them for a while after being introduced, because Marvel, like, one of the big things Marvel did in the early days was have all those crossovers, right? That was like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's like a Spider-Man comic where just like Peter's going to school and there's like the astral projection of Doctor Strange is just like wandering by, and there's just like a little editor's note at the top that's like, if you want to know more about Doctor Strange, read this comic book, because it's like they were
That's
just trying to like
hilarious.
promote the idea that they all live in the same world and stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't Wolverine show up fighting Hulk? Like that was
Yeah,
his
Wolverine's
first
Wolverine's
appearance?
first appearance was fighting Hulk.
He was a member of the
Interestingly,
Hulk.
Sabretooth's first appearance was actually fighting Iron Fist as well.
Which is so
Interesting.
weird.
Like battling
Weird.
maybe in a Heroes for Hire. I can't remember if it was in Heroes for Hire or in Iron Fist specifically, but yeah, he first fought like Iron Fist and potentially Luke Cage before he like the association with Wolverine was even made. Like that's not even a part of his original thing.
I only got a few more minutes here, so
Yeah.
Get to
Well, the
the
last
end.
thing, the very last thing that they
I know
announced,
what it is. I think I know what it is. Yeah.
we have no information on
Yeah.
writing. I think we have a director. We have a director. I think it's
Yeah.
John Watts, who's been doing Spider-Man, is the director, I think.
Let me see. Let me see.
Peyton Reed really wanted to do it, but apparently he doesn't get to do it. I think it's either John Watts or Peyton Reed. Anyway, one of them is directing it. We don't know. I don't think the script's been written, or it's probably being worked on. There's no casting. There's no release date, but they have officially confirmed that Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, are coming to the MCU.
I know.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah!
And I am
I hope this one crashes and burns too.
so excited. Fuck you, Sean.
You're right. It is John Watts
What?
that they.
It would just
It
be a
is John Watts,
first
okay.
franchise. It'd be funny.
No, the Fantastic Four is fucking incredible.
It'd be bad for the memes.
I
though.
am still a really big fan of the first film,
It's
like the first Fantastic
Not
Four
good.
movie.
It's
I
not great.
really, I have a weird sauce on my heart for that fucking movie.
that's fine, man. I like all kinds of like. I love the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
Fucking
he's
more
giving
power
himself
to ya.
up. Go get him.
But
What's his name? Is Reed Richards? I really like. I can't
Ewan
remember what
Griffith?
his name is. Yeah.
I don't think he's old enough. Like,
Fair.
I thought he was good, but I just didn't think he
Fair.
was old enough.
No older than my son.
I will say that I'm bummed because if I couldn't play Danny Rand, I would have wanted to play Johnny Storm,
That's fair.
and
Do it.
that's just not happening. I kind of thought I'd have a few more acting credits under my belt at this point, that like maybe, but
That's
They'll
fair.
host you up on wires for the most part, and you'll be 90% CGI.
flame on. But yeah,
Why
I
not?
love the Fantastic Four. I think this is one of those things, kind of like Spider-Man, that I think is really interesting that they're getting introduced to the MCU so late. And I wonder if it's going to be connected to the alternate reality stuff, if they're going to kind of launch like a new universe, or if they're going to try to bring them in later. But you know, there's a
Or
reason
the
they're
Fantastic Four from like a different universe is gonna come into our. Or
yeah, it's like
something
they're already
that.
established or something, like,
Yeah.
because this is why they're called Marvel's first family. They are the first superheroes of the Silver Age of Marvel. Like, they predate Spider-Man, Thor, Iron Man. They don't technically predate Captain America because he was made like before the US joined World War II, but they predate Captain America being brought into like modern comics, into
Mhm.
the Marvel continuity. They are the quintessential. They're the beginning of the Marvel superhero thing.
Yeah.
It's the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, you know, was interesting because he actually predates a lot of those characters too. Like, Spider-Man has been around longer than Iron Man. He's been around longer than Thor. So him being brought in, you know, they could swing it by having him be the young character, because that is kind of part of his thing. But the Fantastic Four, like, Reed Richards is like one of the preeminent scientists in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. It's like Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, Tony Stark,
Yeah, exactly. And Hank Pym.
and Hank Pym.
Spider-Man.
And then like potentially just below that, you've got like Beast, Spider-Man, a few others. But anyway,
He's not good enough.
he's not. I don't think he's considered. He's a fucking smart dude, but he's not considered on the level of those other four.
But the Beast also isn't like he's a scientist, but he's also like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Teacher.
He's like he's like a sociologist. Like he understands like people. And how they interact and communicate. Like that's his thing, and less like chemistry, biology.
Oh, dude, he's
like that
he's
kind
like
of stuff.
he's like an in the lab scientist. He's like a biology chemistry dude.
No, I know he also is, but I feel like he also like is in that.
He's
other
definitely
realm
a
as well.
multidisciplinarian for sure.
Yeah.
He's a scientist type character in a Marvel thing. He's got multiple PhDs.
Yes.
Yes.
So he has time for that, and then also crime fighting. I don't know.
Well, it's because he doesn't have to physically train because he's just naturally in ridiculous shape.
No, I mean just literally the travel time.
No.
Oh yeah.
Train.
Well, no, he doesn't
Sure.
fly the Blackbird, so while they're flying to a mission, he's just in the back reading books and like writing notes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
He's a multitasker.
Okay.
He's
I
also
see.
reading and memorizing Shakespeare quotes all the time.
Yes, and then says them while he beats people up to sound
Yeah.
cool.
I fucking
Yes.
love Beast. Beast is great.
Wouldn't you do that?
Yes, I would. But yeah, so I think that however they bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU, they won't be like the Fantastic Four necessarily how people might picture them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're gonna have to do something about, because like their place in the universe is part of what makes the Fantastic Four, I think, like in the comics.
Yeah.
Like people can look to the Fantastic Four in continuity as like they are the original superheroes. They're the first motherfuckers who got powers. They're the ones who put on the costumes and started fighting crime. Although they're mostly adventurers, to be fair. Like they go to space and alternate dimensions and do all kinds of wacky shit. They don't really like fight muggers and robbers.
They could if they wanted, though.
Of course. But yeah, I'm really stoked to see. And the thing about the Fantastic Four is that like they're a family. And one of the things that superheroes and the MCU has like really shown is that superheroes can be any genre.
Right.
You know, like the costumes and the stuff, that's like the trappings, but they can be like a political thriller, they can be a sci-fi, they can be a mystery, they can be horror, they can like do all these different things.
Yeah.
And the Fantastic Four are fundamentally a story about a family. And I just really want to see that in MCU.
Husband and wife, or brother and best friend.
Yeah.
I don't have friends. I have family.
Right, but like it's the kind of best
you.
friend where like when Reed and
Why does that sound like Sylvester Stallone?
Adrian!
Adrian!
But Ben is the kind of best friend where like when Reed and Sue have kids, like he's Uncle Ben, you know?
Oh yeah,
Uncle Ben.
Oh my god, he's gonna get shot. It'll be fine though.
He's made of rock. He can't get shot.
Can you get shot?
What a poor power. Just I'm made of rock. Oh,
That's
what a
literally
rough
my
time.
character for Kelly's superhero game.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine the struggles that character goes through? I can't feel. I have no nerves anymore. I'm just rock.
The Thing is great. Also, it's worth noting that for a while in like the 70s, the Thing was like one of Marvel's most popular characters.
Yeah, good. He's awesome.
It was like a big fucking deal. Marvel had 2 team-up books. They had Marvel 2-in-1 and Marvel Team Up. One of them was like a Spider-Man book where it was like Spider-Man and another character every month. The other one was a Thing book. Like it was the Thing teaming up with a character. That's how big a deal the Thing was.
Love it. Love it.
He was like a big and I'm just stoked to get to see him and just the whole family. And it's gonna
was like, yeah, give me that big moving boulder on the page. I want a big boulder boy.
And given that a lot of big deal villains are associated with them, like Galactus, Kang, Annihilus, a lot of these like big deal cosmic level threats, for Marvel are very closely associated with the Fantastic Four, and they travel to different dimensions and stuff. I think that, especially since the Fantastic Four is the farthest away of any of these projects that we know the least about, I think whatever they do with the Fantastic Four, that's going to start indicating like what like phase 5 and 6 and shit of the MCU look like. Like they're going to be, I think, the linchpin of whatever goes forward.
Andrew says Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
Reed
Yeah.
and
I mean,
they're already married.
They're already married. Honestly, they'd be fucking great.
they'd be great.
Who would be like a good Ben Grimm? Like
Keanu
nowadays.
Reeves.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. I don't have rocks. I have family.
Or you can literally ask Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Literally, The Rock played the thing.
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be very funny. No,
Look at me, I'm made of rocks.
Black Adam. So.
Oh, yeah.
Also, speaking of John Krasinski, he put out another some good news today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, holiday edition. He came back.
Nice.
Which is weird because I thought he sold it, but
I know. I thought he sold it too.
Probably did sell it.
Doesn't mean he's not still.
They're probably expecting the pandemic to be over by now, and it's not. So he's like, I'm gonna do the YouTube thing again.
But yeah, that's Marvel and Star Wars.
It's a lot.
Star Wars.
It's a lot to
The
fucking
franchises that will never die.
No, they'll die.
I can't tell. I think it's a little bit of both, but I can't tell if there's more content coming out or if I'm just getting old and can't keep up. I think it's both.
It's both.
No,
I think it's
more
both
content.
For sure.
It's definitely more content.
Honestly, I just want more video games though for both of these properties, man. Like Star Wars and
Apparently,
Marvel.
someone at EA Lucasfilm essentially said that like get fucking ready because apparently they're working on a bunch of Star Wars shit right now.
Thank God.
Which is fucking dope.
The fact that EA spent so long with a property and made like 2 games
Yeah.
that were just like retreads of old games. It's like, guys, you have Star Wars. Fuck.
And then decided to cancel one when it was growing in popularity. I just whatever. I don't want to
Can you imagine if 1313 or the other one that Amy Hennig was working on, the like Project Ragtag?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if either one of those already existed and then Mandalorian came out? Like,
Wow.
I don't want to talk about it.
don't fucking chase the trends, man. Just make the shit because eventually the trends will catch up to you.
Yeah, but
Chat
they had
says
to make
it's 100% me
Battlefront.
getting old.
I thought it was bad.
It's not
Battlefront
just a really, really
was
random
and
note
is
that like it really feels like the people who are dealing with like Lucasfilm and Star Wars stuff right now, they're really trying to work on continuity. I mean, that's just like Dave Filoni's whole fucking thing is like he really wants to make everything feel good. But someone made a really good point. Like this is not really it's not a spoiler at all. It's for a later episode in season 2, but it's not really a spoiler. But someone was pointing out how they got Bill Burr, a fucking comedian, to make a reference to a video game moment that happened in the last like 2 years in the show.
Did he?
Yeah. So Bill Burr, in that very tense moment at the table, he mentions Project Cinder, which is the Battlefront 2 campaign.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. Because I never played the Battlefront 2 campaign. That's really cool.
Yeah, Project Cinder is the project of like all the like satellite lasers that if you have them all like connected, essentially is like a Death Star.
Gotcha.
And then the Empire went around and blew up a bunch of their planets in order to kind of like reduce and cut off loose ends of the Empire. So it was like one guy who was told to blow up all these other planets and destroy a bunch of Imperials, and like that's what Bill Burr's talking about in that moment in that episode. And that's why they say like thousands of lives dead, but like for the Empire, whatever. Yeah.
For the glory of the Empire.
I will say that's references done right because I didn't need to know what Project Cinder was to understand the gravity of it and like get the importance of it. So that's just good fucking writing. First off, that's just really well done.
Yeah.
And as far as continuity goes, to give you an idea of like how ridiculous the Star Wars continuity is getting, I won't say like who or what, but there was like a character from a video game who I thought genuinely had a decent chance of like showing up in the last episode of Mandalorian. That like the character we got, I'm like, that's fucking cool too. But I was genuinely convinced that a character that originated in a video game might show up as like a big deal. Yeah. And like, I can't believe that I even thought that was a possibility based on like how
there are a lot of fan theories that they might show up.
That's just a fan theory.
And as far as Marvel video games go, there's been some rumors that there's a Daredevil one and a Wolverine one potentially in the works.
Okay.
Both of which would be cool to get. I would like some other X-Men, but I get Wolverine's popular, so cool. And Daredevil is just Daredevil's sick. So,
Sean, you're such a fuck. Everyone's just calling me old in the chat. It's fine.
Oh well, I mean, you are, so it's fine.
It's true. I am very, very old.
Brandon was like, I don't know if it's just me getting old, and then Georgia was like, 100% you just getting old, and then Andrew was like, you old as fuck, and I said, old as shit, you old fuck.
You greasy fucking Harry.
Greasy old fucking Harry. Old
Italian fucking
Italian greasy. Marinara
anyways,
covered.
I should probably get going.
I think we're all done.
Are we gonna podcast next week? Do we want to take a break over the holidays?
I think we should take a break.
I think we should take a break too. Yeah, there's a good chance I might be gaming, and Sean and I might be gamer, or we might be gaming and stream some games at some point next week.
Oh
I
yeah,
think we'll
but
take
nothing like structured or
planned,
official
yeah,
or
nothing
anything.
planned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone have a wonderful holiday.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Whether or not you're seeing family, I hope you just have like, if you're not seeing family, just like have like a you day. Like just fucking like chill the fuck out. Watch your favorite movie. Have a nice fucking cup of hot chocolate. Fucking go, I don't know, buy like the most unhealthy food you fucking love and just like consume it and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
have a
shave
good
your
time.
head.
Shave your, sure, why not?
Every hair on your body. Get rid of your eyebrows.
Like a dolphin, just give yourself the dolphin treatment.
Get in the water. Do the polar bear swim? Keep swimming. Don't stop. Swim to another continent.
Sean, are you trying to kill our viewers?
No. Giving them good holiday advice.
No.
You know,
it's terrible.
Super good holiday advice.
Dive as far as you can into the Marianas Trench. Find Atlantis.
Into the
Bring
Marianas
it
Trench.
into the
It's
Marinara
full of
Trench.
tomato sauce.
Something that we might decide soon is when
Bring
we're
it
gonna play Divinity, because we were just talking about that it's on sale and stuff.
Screw the egg.
Fuck.
This is
Gaze
getting
into
weird.
infinity.
Okay, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Reach
Merry
into-
Christmas.
everybody.
Happy
Reach
New Year.
into
Happy holidays. We will
Atlantis.
see you guys in 2021.
Woo! All right, bye bye. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.